Always record every conversation, just in case. I'm telling you, it's going to come back bite you.
Everybody's caught up on, oh, Bezaleel made secret recording. Bezaleel's a snake. He's a spy. He's been holding recordings since going back to 2011. Those are all lies. The recordings that I have are recent, but they said I baited him into a conversation to then record him secretly. That's not true. The day after Judah Masharati was put out, I had called Nathaniel and I came in as a third witness to all the things that happened to them. Kanai, that following Sabbath, after class, I'm listening to some track somebody was sending me. He asks me to go outside and he needs to talk to me. Now, mind you, I lost trust for this man because of how he's been maneuvering and what he did to Judah and Mosh and everything that led up to it. And before we go outside to talk, I hit the record button, put the phone in my pocket, go outside and talk because I don't know what this man is going to say to me. I don't know what he's going to twist or spin and then tell me don't tell nobody or what. I just don't trust him. So I recorded it just in case. Officer Azaniah of Austin Camp did something he shouldn't have done, going against IUIC protocol. And I was commanded at the time by Deacon Abiel to secretly record Azaniah after class. So after class was over, but I was told to secretly record him without him knowing, and then send the recording to Abiel. And based on that recording, they judged him.
Always record every conversation, just in case. I'm telling you, it's going to come back bite you.
Well, first off, in Florida, the whole concept of Kanai moving came all of a sudden. It wasn't something that was like, planned out, or at least I didn't know it was planned out. The reason being, and anybody that saw the whole thing go down in Florida, I was mad, that he just up and decided he was about to leave because, for one, he didn't know this at the time, and I didn't know I didn't know if it was even expedient to tell him. I knew why he was leaving. From my understanding of what was going on financially, he didn't have the means to just up and leave like that, And I know that you were down there and you had a brother, that was very, very well off that you was going into business with. And that was from talking to you. And, you was open about it. And the brother, and other conversations that I had with Kanai, that he was talking back and forth with the brother. But I didn't know that it was going to be some kind of partnership or a business thing going on until when he told me when he told me he was leaving, I was upset because, to my understanding, me and Kanai were close. Now, we bumped heads a couple times, but that was because, and I did apologize to him because he did say, you were disrespectful and you apologized. Yeah, I apologized to him. The disrespect was that I didn't agree, and he has a way of trying to overtalk you and rah, rah, rah. And me, I don't respond well to that. I'm a man, you're a man, let's not do that. The way that me and his relationship was we was brothers. That whole bow down to the bishop stuff, that was new. When I came to Austin and everybody was bowing down and bishop this and bishop that, and I know that he would say, don't call me bishop, I'm your brother. That's the understanding that I thought that we was under. But things started to change. That last year or so that I was in Florida with Bishop, things started to change. But from my understanding, he moved and he showed me a house. He was moving and he showed me a house. I'm like, how the hell? Looking at this house, this looks like a $300,000 house. Brother, you broke as hell. I know you are. I'm around you every day. How's this happening? You know what I'm saying? So I was upset. I had a feeling on me that this is that bull crap that he had done before that I talked to him about. With a sister that was in New York. There was a sister that wrote books. And he went to New York for some stuff to get money because, like I was saying, the brother was hitting bad. We all struggle. So, so I understand the struggle, but in the struggle, you don't lose people. There was a girl in New York, and she sold books, and she was a rich millionaire from what he was telling me, and I'm like, oh, praise it. This, that, and the third. And the next time I talk to him, he's telling me about, she's talking about she's going to move down, and Julie, this is, the money, access to the money, and to money to do things. She wants to invest in this. And I'm thinking to myself, how does she know anything about your business endeavor? You just never met this sister, for one. You ain't been there a good few months. Tell me that she ain't been in the truth, in the camp, in the congregation, that she ain't even been there a whole year. How does she know anything about your business endeavors? So I'm just listening, I'm listening as he talks, because, Kanai, he'll run the Willy Bobo, and talk real fast and real slick stuff. So I'm just listening. I'm trying to figure out, should I be happy for him or what? I don't really understand. So he's telling me, go look at real estate. Go look at real estate down there, because she's going to move down there. And look into how much 15-passenger vans cost, because we're talking about getting a fleet of vans and doing a cab company. And I'm like, hey, Kanai, this don't look right, man. This don't sound right. She ain't been in the truth but a hot minute. This don't sound right. It don't look right. What happens if she bugs out and then, y'all in business together? You know what I'm saying? It just don't look right. And he told me his exact words, as long as Nathaniel knows about it and I'm transparent with it, it's okay.
How narcissists can instill this false sense of trust with their victims in order to manipulate and have their victims lower their guard. And so the victim thinks, well, okay, if they're going to be so open and honest and transparent, then I will too. And the reality is they're not being open and honest and transparent. It's all, like everything else they do, it's a manipulation to get you to lower your guard.
It's only a problem if I'm sneaking around and doing it. But Nathaniel knows exactly, what's going on. So I'm okay. So stop tripping, Judah. And I'm like, oh, it don't look right. I'm just telling you, it don't look right. Whatever happens with that, all of a sudden, he moves back from New York. All of a sudden, he moves back. He's got gadgets and gifts and all this type stuff coming to the house. And then all of a sudden, he goes out and buys a $20,000 15-passenger van. I'm like, what the hell? He's like, my sister, man, I'm telling you, she just booked the van for me. This, that, and the third. I'm thinking to myself, why would you accept that? People get put out of the congregation for accepting $400 or $500 from a brother that's trying to help them because of their rent, because it didn't go through leadership and this, that, and the third. And you people get accused of taking and stealing from the congregation. If inside the congregation, this is tens of thousands of dollars. And then he tells me about all this money that she dumped in his account. It's God blessing him. I'm like, man, this don't look right. Excuse my language, but I'm like, this does not look right. This does not look right. So I just kept my, I held my peace and I just didn't say nothing. But I was kind of disappointed in the whole situation. But it might be that I'm just evil surmising. Maybe I'm evil surmising. Maybe this is some righteous stuff, and the Lord, because he was like, the Lord is blessing me. I'm like, maybe the Lord is blessing him. Because he's broke. If anybody needed, the brother needed. You know what I'm saying? So maybe the Lord is blessing him, and I want him to be all right. So cool. So that happens. Time goes by. Next thing you know, hey, what's going on with the sister? He stops talking about her. What's going on with the sister? Yeah, she ain't in the truth no more. She left the church, and she just up and left. And I'm just sitting there thinking. And I told him. Matter of fact, I went thinking. I said, I told you. He's like, yeah, Judah. Yeah, Judah. It wasn't like that. She just left. There's something going on with this, that, her husband, and then she just went back. But I'm thinking, okay, you don't want to hear it. But in my mind, I told you. It should have been more time invested in our spirit than invested in our pocket. But whatever. So him moving from Florida to go to Texas. Same thing. Here's it's a rich brother and his wife. Brother's rich, and all of a sudden, out of clear blue, he finds a way that now him and, do you, because of some of the business that you got going on with this brother, you done made a relationship. All of a sudden, Bishop finds a way to get in there and get next to the dude, and I think part of it is it's the using of status, that I'm the bishop, and who don't want to be next to the bishop? Now you're next to the bishop, you know what I'm saying? Because that was some of the nostalgia or I don't know the word to use for it, but like when I was around him, it's like, hey, he won't be around Bishop. This Bishop, come on, it's the head guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm over his house and whatnot. But the relationship that we had was more on a friendship thing. It was more on, don't call me Bishop. It was friendship. It was real. I mean, you saw our relationship. So I'm trying to figure out how to get so close to this dude. How did he get so close to this? How did this dude get so close to Kanai? And then when I found out who he is, famous this and famous that, and star this and millionaire that, and mansion here and a mansion there, I'm like, oh damn, this is the same exact crap. It's the same exact crap that happened before. And next thing you know, he's moving. He's showing me a house. There's a $300,000-$400,000 house, and it's his. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this is, And I'm, lightweight. I was pissed, but at the same time, I'm like, because it's being sold as it's a blessing from God. God is blessing me for all the work that I've put in. That's exactly what he told me. Once you put in a lot of work, you never know where the blessing come from. I'm like, okay, that's what could happen with the sister. God's blessing you, but people using to bless you, they going back into the world. But okay, whatever. So he moved down there, and I told him after he moved, like I said, we had some disputes when it concerned Passover, and that's where the disrespect on my end came from, because I did raise my voice to him. I was like, well, maybe I could have handled that different, because we shouldn't be, him nor myself should be raising their voice to each other. You know what I'm saying? Inside of the spirit, we shouldn't be arguing, fussing, and fighting like that. So I apologized, and every time that I've apologized, whenever he come off, abrasive, like for instance, that stunt he pulled in front of your house when he came over like he was about to fight you, me, how you handled that, I would have handled it different. I come from a different walk of life. You're not coming beating on my door, telling me, you come on. I would have handled that different. So the times that he came off like that to me, I matched that with the same aggression. And in retrospect, I look at it and I'm like, I shouldn't have did that. And that's why I would call him and be like, I'm sorry. I feel like that was disrespectful. I shouldn't have did it. Now, what I would think as a brother, he would say, you know what, Judah, I'm sorry that I yelled at you like that too, because you're a man. But he never did. He never done that. And that's just the spirit that he's gotten. So when he paints that picture of Judah, apologize for being disrespectful. You're right, I did. But I was trying to take the low. Blessed be the peacemaker. Remember, he blurted that out at my tribunal. Blessed be the peacemaker. Well, that's what I was doing, trying to make peace. And blurted that out. Well, okay, I was apologizing, trying to make peace. But obviously it didn't work, because here you are still bringing it up as if I, saying I did some great evil towards you, some great sin, because I defended myself when you started with your railing. It's just so much stuff. I'm telling you, it's just ridiculous. And in all of this that was going on, I still had it in my mind that I'm dealing with a brother until I got to Texas. So let me get to that part. So he moves to Texas. But one thing he would say on the flip end, before all this business stuff happened, Bez is a good guy. Bez needs to stop letting people bully him. The people in New York, Bez lets them bully him. And I try to defend Bez, but I can't, because this, that, and the third, he needs to stop, because them guys are just uncompromising and this, that, and the third. So I thought you and him had I thought they had a great relationship. It wasn't until I moved to Texas that I really, because remember when I moved down there, it was painted to me that you, him, and the brother that he referred to as the Pocket, for the sake of not calling out his name, I thought that y'all had a great thing going. I'm like, Hebrew Market, this, that, and the third. And for him to get me down there, he was like, yeah, I'm going to be an addition to this thing on the food truck end. He's starting a food truck thing. And he would tell me, in Florida, when it was broke and money was bad, yeah, everything I do, I want you to, get involved because you're my brother and this, that, and the third. So this is the type of relationship I thought me and him had. And I would say the same thing to him. We would give money back and forth to each other like it was nothing. Anytime, so this is the type of relationship I thought we had. This is the type of relationship for a while it seemed to be.
Right.
Getting back to you though, he would say that you are the glue that, with your the skills that, because from what I saw and what he wouldn't even deny, you were doing the work as far as the website, the designing, the running the equipment, the putting the advertising. All of that stuff was coming out of you. So it was basically, when he would talk about you before everything went through the floor, it was that you was the guy. You was the guy that made this thing happen. You was the guy that made this thing work and whatnot. I'll tell you what he was doing, and I spoke this to him when I came down to Texas. And he was always talking about you negative. It was constant negative. Bez this, Bez that, Bez this guy. He's just, you don't know what he's doing. He ties his own shoe. And this, that, and the third. But I told him one time, every time I'm around you talking about Bez, this stuff is starting to get uncomfortable. He said, yeah, you're right. I'm just telling you, man, this guy, though, it's just, it just makes it so hard because this, that, and the third. It just seemed stressed. It seemed like, and it got to the point where every time I was around him, he was talking about you in a negative way. And you remember when we were in the truck and I came and told you, I was telling you, I didn't tell you about that until well after everything blew up. But I came and told you, look, man, you didn't put yourself on the schedule, and you was like, well, Judah, what are you doing? What are you talking about? I'm doing this, that, and the third. I'm just like, man, it'd just be more effective for you to put yourself on the schedule and make it. You remember that conversation?
Oh, right. Yeah, we was moving equipment from my house, my garage, to the Pocket Brothers' house. In
my mind, I was like, what can I say to you without telling you what he's saying about you? Because if what he's saying true, maybe I can motivate you to do a better job, because he's looking. And I was still trusting that he was on the up and up. I didn't want to tell you what he was saying because it would have put a spirit on you. And, saying that you would have been pissed. So I was just trying to give you pointers. That's,
Right.
And if you remember, that's what I was doing. I know it was throwing you off a little bit, like, what the hell are you?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it came off as if I'm trying to tell you about your business.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That wasn't the case. I was trying to, give you some pointers because he's saying you're a slacker dude. So, and I didn't see you like that.
There was a phone call that I was privy to And
when I was in Florida.
right.
Yeah, they called it.
Can you elaborate on that?
One of you convincing me to come down.
Right, because I told my perspective of it, but I want you to tell what the conversation was about. How did it go?
Well, after he got down to Texas, he gives me a call, and he's saying, I need to come down there. And I'm like, nah, I can't do that. I just now signed the lease. I'm only a month or two into my lease. I just signed it. I just moved. I moved closer to the church in Florida. You know what I'm saying? I downgraded my house and moved closer to the school in Florida. I just quit my job because he ordered me to quit my job to take care of Passover business. That's where you get when on that recording where he was like, and I gave Judah the $6,000, and then you would think that it came out of his pocket because it's love, or he's like, I paid him for Passover, and this, that, and the third, and you would think that it was because, you know, I ain't doing nothing unless I get paid. You know, that's the picture he painted. But the reason, you know, my bills monthly, and I'm open. I got 2 car notes. I got a family of 5, teenage kids, house, and all the amenities that come with, you know, toilet paper and all that stuff that you got to do. My bills are close to $4,000, and some months over $4,000 a month. So 1 month is $4,000. So my bills are high. And I was handling my own bills. Nobody was paying my bills for me in Florida. You know what I'm saying? Somebody mentioned that, yeah, he fed you and put food on. No, stop. Nobody was paying my bills in Florida. He wasn't paying my bills in Florida at all. I was working. I had a good job, and I was getting it. You know what I'm saying? He told me to quit my job because, for one, he was selling me these dang on stories about the businesses that we're going to do. And if he got it, then I got it. And I don't realize he got access to all of this money now. And any endeavor, he told me to look into food trucks in Orlando and this, that, and the third, because he'll invest in it as if he's got the money. He's speaking like it's his money also. You know what I'm saying? But he called me while I was in Florida and told me, come to Texas. I'm like, I can't come to Texas. I'm about to go back to my job that I had because they would take me back because I was a great worker. And I was about to start selling food. I had to, you know what I'm saying, I was going to use the grill that we got for Passover, the church got for Passover. I was going to pay some money to the church to rent it, and then I was going to sell food. I was like, nah, I'm not going. So what happening is he starts convincing me, look, Judah, this is the best thing for you. This is the best thing for your family. Don't be hard-headed, you know what I'm saying? You know, I'm like, you don't see me as a father, this, that, and the third. I'm trying to tell you what's good. I don't want to see you throwing boxes. I don't want to see you throwing boxes your whole life in that job. So I'm looking at it like, man, this is love. But at the same time, I don't really want to be in business with him because me and him been already bumped heads on business. And he took me standing firm as disrespect, and I don't think it's a good idea. But he kept on trying to convince and telling me about all the endeavors and all the money that he has access to now and all the plans that he ever wanted to make. Now he can do it because he's got access. If he says throw $40,000 this way, it happens. This, that, and the third, and they're going to buy a fleet of food trucks, starting out with 1 or 2, and all I have to do is manage them. And then, you know, I can sprout off and do my own thing because he knows that that's what I wanted to do. He said, this is the opportunity for you to get down here. Get down here. This is going to be great for you. And I'm like, I don't think it's a good idea, you know. And he kept on pressing. And then I got another phone call, and this time it was him and the brother that he calls the Pocket on the phone, you know what I'm saying, going back and forth, telling me how cheap it is to live in Austin. And I know I shouldn't have listened because this is a millionaire telling me how cheap it is to live in Austin. Cheap to him is freaking life-changing to me. You know what I'm saying? And then this is somebody who ain't paying his own way telling me how cheap it is to live in Austin. So, you know, if I was using my better judgment or thinking right, I'd kick myself for that. I would have never did it. But I'm like, okay, these are all these assurances. All right, I'm gonna do it. And my wife was like, nah, you shouldn't do that. And this one time, that's why I tell brothers now, sometimes you gotta listen to your wife. Don't sit there with all that, don't listen to your wife. She's a woman, she just gotta follow stuff. Sometimes you gotta listen to your wife, because I wish I would have listened to my wife. She said, don't do it. She said, you know how things are. You know what you already done been through. You done seen certain stuff. It's a bad idea. And I was like, nah, I got assurances. You know what I'm saying? He's feeding me the fatherly, I love you, I want to see better for you rap. So I'm thinking, this is it. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to take a chance. Because, you know, at the time, and still now, I get mad love for him. I'm like, hell, you know, we brothers. The way we was together, everybody that knows us, like, these brothers together, they like David and Jonathan or something. At least so I thought. Come to find out, when I finally get my family down there, and it took a good $10,000 for the move, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of money that was given, you know what I'm saying, was exhausted in the moving process and paying of the bills when I first got down there. And I grossly miscalculated how much money I would need because I didn't know it was really that expensive down there. It was expensive as hell down there. And once I realized it, I'm like, man, I'm running out of money. So me and him get into a falling out behind that. He's like, you covetous, you want more. I'm like, this is the first 4 weeks I was down, I was living out of a food cooler because I didn't have a refrigerator. Because he told me when I got down there, him and the Pocky brother told me that, look, I'm going to give you all this furniture. I got refrigerators, furniture, couches, chairs, and all that. He convinced me in Florida to throw all the stuff that I had away because this brother got 5 houses that he's gutting out. He's going to throw all the furniture away. Judy, you can put it in your house. And he said he had a lot of it in his house already. So I'm like, cool, if he's going to throw it away. I mean, I ain't with being chargeable to nobody, so how do I pay for it? So they came up with a thing, because I told them I didn't want to come down there to be chargeable. So they said, okay, the brother needs help cleaning these storage bins out. He needs help cleaning stuff out of his house. This stuff is crazy, and that ain't his forte. So I was like, I can do it. I'll do that. They came up with a number to give me. They gave me the money up front. I'm like, all right, I'm in. So that's how I ended up coming down to Texas. And the money that he said that he just gave me for love or whatever, that was BS. It was BS. The money that I coveted for it, he convinced me to do every bit of that stuff. And I took a lot of blowback for it. Then once I got down there, I'm over there and I did the job for the brother. The last part of the job was cleaning out storage bins. They would never have me go do it. Never have me go do it. The one day him and the brother went to Africa or Jamaica or whatever, and I was like, okay, let me get this brother's wife.
It was Ghana.
It was Ghana.
It was the Ghana.
I said, let me get this brother's wife, and now we can do it. Because now they out of the way, because I would block everything. It was like he was dancing around these people. That was another thing. I was disgusted when I got down there when I saw how he was acting. And the leadership in Austin was talking about it. All of them. They was all talking about it like, yeah, this is uncomfortable, this ain't right. The way the stuff is going down here, he's acting different. All of them. And now to see them all band together, that like nothing happened is ridiculous. But that's another story. So I get down there, I'm down there, we set up a day, it was supposed to be a Wednesday, that we go get this stuff done. All of a sudden, me and her texting back and forth, yeah, we're gearing up to go. All right, you got the truck? All right, yeah. She's like, I got to take the kids. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, why? She's like, this, that, and the third. All right, cool. My son's supposed to go too. Then I get a text. I said, okay, so you ready? She said, hold on, let me call my Lord. I'm like, all right, cool. Then I get a text back. Never mind, you don't have to do it. Bishop said he would do it. I said, what? And I got the text messages. I'm going to send them to you so you can put those up too, just in case that somebody tries to say it's a lie. I mean, I'm like, what? What do you mean? He's going to do what? My job? I was paid for that. Yep. Why? I don't know. Guess one less thing you don't have to do. I'm like, what the hell? Hold on, why is this going this direction? That's when I realized fully this man is trying to play me. He's trying to paint a picture and make me chargeable to this man, and this is going to come back later on and make it seem as if I didn't want to do the job. And it was just little small stuff like that started letting me know it's hatred. This brother got hatred for me. He moved me down here to sun me. He moved me down here to play me. And I'm just now recently finding out that it started in Florida. I thought it was because I started a website and didn't sit and wait for him. I thought maybe he was just offended by that, but he just got a narcissist type of personality, and he was offended by that, and that's what it is. But listening to those recordings, I realized that he had hatred on him towards me in Florida, and he masked it very well, and then he pulled me out of my comfort zone so he can find me and prove his point.
Let's keep in mind that the narcissist is a game player. And the game is to make you angry or to make you look foolish. And so if you come back at them with a whole lot of anger or agitation or blame and say, you know, I hate it when you do this to me, or you're constantly down on my case and you're going to have to quit it, then they can come back and say, see, this is proof of what I'm talking about. You're an unstable person. And so you can't really afford to go into there.
You know what I'm saying? It looked like they was getting played. Because he was somebody I didn't recognize when I got down there. When I got down there, I didn't recognize that guy. He was a totally different guy. You know, he was a totally different guy. He was, every time I looked up, he was counseling the brother's wife. And I don't think it was anything, you know, sensual as far as nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? I can't speak to say that it was anything like that, so I don't want to give that perception out to anybody. But it was like he was trying his hardest to stay in. And every time I looked up, it was counseling. They were sitting somewhere talking and counseling all day, every day. It was uncomfortable. And I'm sitting over there like, I'm ready to do the work. Because the work that I had to do, I got done quick. Bez, you know how I work. I get it. I go straight at it. I don't stop it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so now I'm just sitting there looking at the way this man is operating. I'm like, this is not the brother that I know. This is not the bishop that I know. This is not the dude that I know. Who is this? I think I even said something to you one day, like it's when you was over there working. I'm like, what's going on, man? It's kind of strange. And you kind of looked at me like, yeah, I know. And I'm like, what the hell is this? Ain't Bishop Kennard. This ain't how he acts. But that's it. It just, you know, it looked like they was getting played, and they didn't know no better. You know, they think this is how the dude really is. Like, nah, this ain't him. This ain't how he acts. You know what I'm saying? This is not him whatsoever. He's in there. You know what I'm saying? Something happened, and like something still. He'll get it. Oh, let me get that. He's down acting like, the stuff that I was seeing is like, what the hell is he doing? Dancing around this brother and his wife like that. That ain't how he act. That's what I said. And that confirmed my suspicions before I got there. It's like, oh, this is like that one sister. So then when I get down there and I see it, and I'm thinking it's going to be something else, because, you know, you want to suppress that. You don't want to think the worst. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't going to think that. And now I'm down here. I'm in it, too, because to go ahead and fully admit that that's what it is, now I'm really, I'm going to tell you, I started feeling like a dunce. I started feeling like a dumbass because I knew better. I went down there 3 months before I was talking, and before I was talking about I need to move. I called back to Florida and told Captain Kabas, I was like, this was a mistake. And he laughed at me. He was like, I told you shouldn't have did it, because he told me don't go down there, you know. But I'm like, who do you listen to? Him or the bishop?
Right, and I remember that he started treating you all of a sudden. I started pulling away because one thing I know in the streets is that if you want to know how somebody's going to deal with you, watch how they deal with other people or what they'll say about you.
And that pissed him off. And I'm glad you brought that up, because when I started seeing how he was acting, I decided, look, I'm not going to sit here no more. For one, this is uncomfortable. For two, I'm not doing anything. The job that I was paid to do, I'm not doing. Now, what I knew is I can't just go out and get a regular job because the money's running out, and I need money. I got a family. I can't go out and get a regular job, because if I do, once this brother that he calls the pocket, once he decides whenever he feels like it, because he's got money to do it whenever he feels like doing it, once he decides, okay, I'm ready to go clear these bins out due to his time, I can't tell him after already paid me up front, I can't do it because I got to work today. You know what I'm saying? So I had to come up with a way that I can work, still make some money, take care of my family, but be available when this man is ready. Because he only paid me for 3 months, but I was prepared, if it was 6 months later, to do the job because he paid me. And that's what you do with a brother. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't going to be caught up in another job talking about, you only paid me for 3 months, and then those 3 months you didn't get the stuff done, so you lose, Negro, ha-ha. I wasn't going to do that. Now, Kanai told me to do that. He said, well, he paid you for 3 months. And if at 3 months, if you just sit on the couch for 3 months, then he just got to pay you for another 3 when it's time to do the. And I told Kanai, I said, I'm not comfortable with that. You're going to make me chargeable to this dude. No, I'm not comfortable. It's a good brother. I can only imagine how many people be trying to play him because he got money, because of his status. I ain't going to be on that boat. Hell no. But, and to this day, it's like I heard on that recording, Kanai talking about, he paid you for 3 months, you sit on the couch. I'm like, nah, man. For one, he didn't pay me to come over and sit on the couch. He paid me to clean out stuff for him. I cleaned out the stuff that was right there in the city. The other stuff was in another city. It wasn't on this couch. And I called him every single day.
Let me elaborate on what it was he was doing. The family had downsized because they're in the truth and they wanted to downsize. And they had a lot of stuff left over that went into storage. In the process...
A lot is a miscalculation. A lot doesn't even describe the stuff.
Right. I mean, I don't want to, that's his personal business. But the point was that in them going into this house, they needed a lot of help. That's where you came in. Because of your organizational skills, your drive, you get things done. I saw you did a great job. It was just incredible. You know, you helped get them settled in.
And after I did all that, he wanted me to sit on the couch. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go, and because I got to get some money. Now, the brother fronted me some more money. He said, because this is just an advance for us, because we said we're going to be paying you month to month, and I see you need it, even though it's earlier than I was supposed to run out of money. But like I said, I grossly miscalculated because I didn't know how expensive it was in Texas. They told me they misquoted or misrepresented or something. They told me that it was cheap.
If I remember correctly, you were looking for, you had a sister in the congregation who does real estate helping you find a house. And
I was looking for something around $1,600.
Right, you was looking for something at a certain price range, and then this house that was like, what, $2,400 came up?
It was $1,900, and then it jumped to $2,000 after so many months.
Right, and I remember you were like, I remember you telling me, Bez, man, this house is nice, but I can't take it. This is like crazy. And I remember sitting there and listening to Bishop telling you, Judah, you could do it, basically putting the pressure on you to take it.
Yeah.
And
the money's there, Judah. Take it. The money's there.
Right.
Trust me. The money's going to be there. We're getting these food trucks. The money is there. Just take it. Yeah, that's exactly what he did.
Right.
And that's what, you know what, now that I look back in retrospect, that in itself was covetous on my part, because I knew better. And I was just hoping the money was truly going to be there, so I jumped in. You know what I'm saying? But you saw I stayed there for 2 years, and I made it work. It was only a few months of help that I got. It really wasn't even help, because I got paid for a job that Kanai took away. You know what I'm saying? But it was only a few months that they did it, and I put my feet in the dust, and I took care of it for 2 years. But yeah, absolutely, he convinced me to get that place. And then after everything started going haywire, he said, I didn't tell you to do nothing. Nobody made you do nothing. The same way he said about me even moving down there. He allowed the church, he allowed the congregation, the leadership to look at me like I was dumb, and he backed away as if he had nothing to do with it.
Right, and I'm only asking because I know in the judgment, he elaborated on you coming down and being helped and all this stuff, and he didn't give you a chance to explain, nor did anybody know the backstory as to why you even moved down, which was really, it was hardcore facts that needed to come out because it led to why you wanted to leave. So, you know, instead it was just a browbeating of you just, you know, them having the mic, him being able to paint the narrative, and you just having to take it and just be there and take it. So,
well, I'm gonna tell you, that should have never happened. For one, it was business. It didn't have nothing to do with the congregation. None of that should have ever came up. For two, it was a half truth. And when it's all said and done, you know this. That's his MO. He's going to speak, and you can't say nothing. And then he's going to tell you you know, who you are and whatnot. And he's going to paint the picture to everybody else. I'm telling you, with all this, I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed that it even has to come out like it's coming out right now. But I understand why it has to. I understand why you asked me to speak on this thing. Trust me, I understand. Because it has to come out, because I ain't the first, and I probably won't be the last. Neither are you the first, or will be the last. Neither is Maserati the first, or will be the last. That sister that had money that ain't in the truth no more, I doubt if she's the first. Or I know she ain't the last, because here go the brother, the pocket brother. He's playing that role now. You know what I'm saying? It's going to keep on happening. And it's iniquity. It's filthy lucre. It's sowing of discord. It's many different sins bottled up in this whole thing. So I understand why it has to come out. And it made me think, why did you strenuously convince me to come to Texas? And I realized you did that because you had hatred in your spirit for me then. You brought me down there to sun me. You brought me down there to show me that you was the boss. That's what you did. And it dawned on me. And I was trying to put my finger on, why has he got so much hatred towards me? When I got to Texas, I would ask you, I don't know what it is about me.
I remember for the few months that we worked together, you was rattled behind it, because it's like as many times as you try to sow that olive branch and try to make peace with him, there will always be something coming back that I would hear, or you would hear from either New York or Uzziah or somebody that, you know, he's basically talking about you or trying to get people to view you in a different light, or accusing you of stealing some kind of idea or doing something to get back at him. And I never experienced that with you at all. It was always a counsel of, yo, let's stop talking about this. Let's just try to move on. You know, leave it in the Lord's hands. The Lord's going to deal with it. Let's pray for him. And
just fix it, because this right here, I'm going to tell you right now, this right here, this conversation, knowing that it's about to be put out, is making me uncomfortable. But I understand why it's got to be done. This ain't my MO. It might sound funny, it might sound shrewd. I know the people that are going to hear this later on, they're like, damn. But I would rather that we just face-to-face go at it than this type stuff right here. Well, Maserati, it happened so quick because of me. And I feel bad about that because Maserati was pulled into the hatred that was geared towards me. And because he was close to me, he caught the brunt of something that he shouldn't have had to catch, being that he was going through that divorce and his ex-wife had ravished their family and tore up everything. You know what I'm saying? His best friend betrayed him like he did. He shouldn't have had to go through that. And that was a demonic, devilish thing that Kanai was doing to that brother. You know what I'm saying? And making him go through that and treating him like that and putting him in those positions. But that was all because of me. That didn't have nothing to do with him.
Right. And
even though they try to make it him now.
Right. And in me dealing with his wife, because I bought the car from them and it was under her name, I had to talk with Maserati a lot. And he confided in me the things that he was being told by Bishop that was similar to things that he had told me and he had told you.
And that's why I left, ultimately, because I didn't agree. I don't agree with them brothers. I don't. I tried. You know what I'm saying? I tried and I tried. I tried to play the game, and I just don't agree. So I had to go. But ultimately, what I was trying to do was get away from Kanai. I figured if I got to, okay, Florida ain't going to work because he got his hands on Florida. Dallas, I was trying to, if you remember, I always stayed in Dallas. That's how me and Maserati got close because I was staying in Dallas so much. I drive 3 hours to go to Dallas and stay down there for the weekend just so I didn't have to sit next to Kanai at that table because no matter what, it was always a problem with this brother. So I was just trying to stay away from him to keep the peace. I understood that he had evil towards me. I couldn't put my finger on why, but I understood that he did. So I tried to stay away from him so I can keep the peace. If not peace between me and him, at least peace within me. So I didn't feel that uncomfortable because eventually I was going to say something. And I know Kanai. Every time I've ever said anything to him, he, you know what I'm saying, since that issue, he responded negatively.
Right.
Like for instance, when he was in the malls pissing on Christmas trees. Remember that? He had everybody in IUIC standing out in the grocery store, wherever the Christmas tree, acting like they had their penis out, pissing on it, looking back like, yeah, pissing on Christmas. Vulgar stuff. It's like, and I said something to him. See, they would have you think that nobody ever says anything. If you had a problem, as long as you say nothing. I sent him a text message. Tonight, this is vulgar. You're the bishop of the congregation. This don't look right. The bishop standing in the mall acting as if his penis is out and he's pissing on a Christmas tree. People walking by, this is a public place. And then you posted on social media. He just hit me back and said, my penis ain't out, Judah. Shalom. I'm like, well, okay, this brother, he got the devil on him. No matter what I say, it's offensive. He knows that that's wrong. You was there at the Purple Rain video when I told him I'm not going to get in this video, take me off the song, because he wanted to piss on the ISUPK bandana, act like it's a purple stream of piss going down on his bandana. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. I politely told him it don't look right, and then you were more aggressive, like, yo, take me out the video if you're going to do that. And then he was like, oh.
If you're going to do that, take me out the video. But he'll paint this picture of me like I'm some manipulative. That's why I know it's hatred. And that recording that I heard that you had of Kanai, I heard every time you tried to change the subject back to you and him, which I should have been talking about, he kept on saying, but Judah, you don't know Judah. And you can hear it in his voice, that he's manipulative. You don't know him. He's been like that. And then you change the subject and try to roll into something else. And you know Judah. I'm like, man, a blind man can see that this dude got hatred for me. A blind man can see that. And that's why I want you to play the whole thing. Let the people see it. You know, he's not saying anything in there that's going to make me feel intimidated or anything like that. Right. I'll explain everything.
Yeah, I am. There was something that Kanai taught me, he taught you, and other things that he...
one of the things that he taught myself, and after speaking with you about it, because I remember me and you had a debate about it, and I was like, yeah, I learned that from Kanai about multiple wives. He said that you can have multiple wives. Multiple wives is lawful today, right now. Always has been, always will be, and those scriptures about multiple wives are not just talking about the kingdom of God. It's talking about right now. He said there's no way that multiple wives is going to be a sin now. He said there's no way that multiple wives in the Old Testament was lawful, in the New Testament is a sin, and then in the kingdom is going to be lawful again. He said that does not make sense, and then he pulled the scriptures to show that you can have multiple wives right now. He said, but we just don't teach that, and he told me to keep it on the hush, keep it on the low. Another thing that he said is that marijuana is not unlawful. He said it's not unlawful to use marijuana. He said maybe smoking it because you're putting smoke into your lungs and your lungs are for air. He said, but ingesting it or making tea or anything like that, there is nothing wrong with it. He told me if it was legal, he would be doing it. He would have tea. He wouldn't even have to worry about drinking strong drink or wine anymore because he would have marijuana tea. And if he ever goes somewhere where it's lawful, he's going to get some. That's what he told me. That's similar to what he told me because he said we don't teach it now, so we got to be one mind, one spirit. So that's the only reason that he don't teach it. But it's not a sin.
Right. So now he and when he told me that, he said this. He said, "Hey, Bez, don't tell nobody I told you that. Don't tell Nathaniel I told you that. This stays between us."
Exactly what he told me.
The scripture said,
and he told me this in Florida. This wasn't in Texas. This was in Florida, sitting at his dining room table.
And I was just like, and that made me think, well, shit, what else did he tell you? Because he told me a bunch of things that always followed with, don't tell Nathaniel, don't tell no one in the school. And that was one. And then the other thing was about the weed. He told me the same thing. He said that when he goes to Jamaica, that he's gonna get an ounce, and he's gonna make tea and brownies.
And it's a shame that all this stuff got to come out, but this dude is this brother's very deceptive, and I thought this was truly a brother, and a lot of people thought that about me. The scriptures talk about a friend who's a friend for their own occasion, and I realized that that's what he was with me. That's what he was. He was a friend for his own occasion. He needed company or whatever. I don't know what it is he saw in me that made him pull me close or whatever, but I was deceived into thinking that we were as close as I thought we were, because I love his family. I'm just not children. I hate that this even has to come out because I looked at him as not only a brother, a leader. I looked at him as a leader, somebody that I could follow. I never looked at him as a father. I'm 42 years old. He's only a few years older than me. He's probably 8 years old. I've never looked at him as a father. I don't subscribe to that dude father stuff. We always it was never that father stuff. When we got to Texas, it was like he was being worshipped. It was weird. I wanted to get away from it, and I think that offended him. Like, who the hell are you to get away from me? I am the bishop. And he told Maserati something similar to that. How the hell are you going to follow Judah? I am the bishop. And Maserati's like, I'm not following Judah. Me and Judah are close, and we're going to go build together, and we mesh. And I think he was offended by that. I brought Judah down here. I did this. I did that. And now Judah's leaving, so Judah's going to leave by yourself. He ain't leaving with none of this. It's almost like Maserati was his possession or something. And I'll let Maserati tell you the stuff that he had to endure. When Maserati was staying with me, I'm telling you, he would go over to the bishop's house, and when he come back, he'd have a look like he seen a ghost, like somebody kidnapped him and did something to him. Dude, I'm like, what's wrong with you? And the next day, he would tell me, he would hesitantly, scarcely tell me what the conversation was over Bishop's house. It was always about me, and it was evil. And Moss didn't know how to process the stuff. And I'm like, he shouldn't have to go through everything this brother's going through, and that's what you're doing. You got him over so in Discord. The hatred was so thick, it didn't make sense. And it never made sense because during all this, we go to Florida for the hurricane. There was a hurricane in Florida. We jump in my truck, and we drive down there. The bishop said, you want to drive to Florida? I'm thinking, okay, we repairing our thing. We talking on the way there. Everything's good. And it wasn't right after we got back, he reinstated me. He asked me on the way, are you ready to take your position of captain back? I said, I don't know, you tell me. Yeah, he asked me that, and I said, I don't know. You tell me. I don't even know if I was demoted. And I really, and I basically told him, I really ain't tripping about that.
Right.
And he told me, well, Nathaniel wants you to have the position back. He said, Nathaniel wants you to have the position back. I told Nathaniel that you wasn't ready. But Nathaniel said he needs captains that can travel and this and that. We're going to send the captains out to do this and the third. I'm like, oh, he said, you got to be a captain to do it. I'm like, well, I don't know. It really moved me. He said, well, I think you're ready. And I think because he wants you back in the position because he needs you to do this, that, and the third. I'm like, okay, whatever. I was never on that captain stuff. But in all of that, I'm thinking, cool, we are repairing our relationship. Maybe I get the brother that I met in Florida when I moved there 5-6 years ago. I'll get that brother, that seemingly genuine brother.
Right,
hey, I'm going to tell you, that brother is a brother when he's broke.
Right.
When he's broke and nobody's around him and nobody's there to swallow his ego, brother, he's a brother. But he transformed into something else in Texas. that I did not like, and I wanted to get the hell away from.
I think for us, it was always the hope of him going back to the way we remember him in the beginning.
Right. Right.
Now, there was something that we all told Nathaniel that Kanai told all of us, which was what?
Oh, that he can. He used to say stuff like, there was certain stuff about church business that I would be like, that I'd see, and I'm like, man, it ain't right. You know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, but you know what? I'm not even going to say what it is. You know, he'll try to argue that, see, he's trying to make it seem like that was his idea. So to take that away, I'll just tell you what he said. He said that he can, this stuff, you don't nobody else need to tell Nathaniel. It comes from him, but he knows how to get what he wants out of Nathaniel. It's a way that he knows how to talk to Nathaniel to get Nathaniel to do what he needs him to do. So certain stuff he would say, he'd tell me, nah, you need to tell him that. I'll tell him that. Because I can get him to do what I need him to do. You got to know how to talk to him.
Right.
Like, okay, so you can manipulate Nathaniel.
Right, and he did the same. He told me the same thing. I know how to get Nathaniel to do what I need him to do, present things to Nathaniel to get what he wants and manipulate him. He was like, don't tell Nathaniel that I told you to go ask for that rank. Don't tell Nathaniel that I told you this. And I couldn't tell him Kanai sent me to do it because Kanai made me promise I wouldn't say that it was him.
Right.
And and I remember when we brought all this to Nathaniel's attention right after the day after you guys were put out, he heard it from 3 witnesses along with everything else.
Right.
And again, swept it under the rug, chose not to deal with it, ignored it. Meanwhile, there's 3 witnesses that came to him on these things.
When it's all said and done, I'm gonna tell you straight up. I pray that this thing that you're putting together, I pray that it gets the attention of brothers and sisters to really pay, because there's a lot of brothers and sisters that murmur secretly about what's going on in the congregation and leadership and whatnot, and they're terrified to say anything.
Right.
And when this comes out, I'm gonna tell you, Bezaleel, and I want you to put this in it. I want you to put the statement that I'm about to make in it. What's going to happen is they're going to rally men up and tell them how weak and sissified you are and how weak and sissified I am, and Maserati is hurt, and everybody, these men are hurt and they're sensitive and they girl men and this, that, and the third. That's what they're going to do. But what I'm saying right now, I'm saying for the people listening, that's a scare tactic to shut up, don't cry loud, don't spread a knot, don't point out their transgressions, because if you do, you're a girl and you're scared, you're emotional, and you're weak. That is a tactic.
Right.
Not listen to it.
Right, because at the end of the day, the fear that's put in everybody's head is that these brothers are coming against the truth.
Right.
Because we're bringing out we're bringing out truth about what the bishops did. And that gets spun as going against the truth. Well, we know the truth is Christ. So how would that be going against the truth? I'm telling you, it's a spell. But anyway, that's a whole nother discussion. But all right, brother. So in closing, I appreciate you talking and giving your testimony. That should have been this. Be honest with you, in your judgment, this is where Deacon Abiel needed to talk to you, Hoshea needed to talk to you, Jeremiah needed to talk to you, Azaniah needed to talk to you, Uzziah needed to talk to you. All these men.
Every one of the deacons, all of those men, every one of the deacons, they should have been in-house.
Right. According to the scriptures, they were supposed to hear the whole matter, the both sides before they judged anything. Instead, and everything came from Kanai, went to Nathaniel, and Nathaniel trying to protect his precious organization, his precious logo and brand, his registered non-for-profit. He swept all this under the rug. So there you have it.
Like I said, I pray that it wakes up the people that need to be woke. For the most part, I know that most of brothers and sisters inside the camp, they're going to do what they've been doing. Most of them are going to do what they've been doing, and they're going to turn a blind eye to it and listen to whatever leadership says, because they're being taught that they don't have a head of their own.
Hey, shalom, Israel. Guess who I'm with? The captain from Boston. Brother been with us for a long time, keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. This year he made it to be a captain. A lot of captains want to know, and a lot of officers and soldiers want to know, how do you keep their rank holy, brother?
Shalom, Messiah, Captain Gideon. If you want to keep your rank, just follow order. Don't make no decision without consulting your head. You don't have a head. Don't think for yourself. Like the deacon always say, let the leadership think for you. Don't make no decision on your own.
And they're going to turn a blind eye to it and listen to whatever leadership says, because they're being taught that they don't have a head of their own, which they're really being taught is that Christ ain't their head, really, because when you tell somebody that they don't have a head, the leadership is your head, you don't have a mind, the leadership is your mind, what you're telling them is that Christ is not their head, you are their head. You're their go-between the Most High and Christ.
Right. Meanwhile,
they have to go through you. So
right. Meanwhile,
that's what they're being fed.
Right.
And that's what they believe. So I feel sorry for them.
Who I got on the phone?
This is Masha Rafi.
All right, Masha. I'm going to ask you some questions. I want you to answer honestly. We know you had a divorce, and in the process of that divorce, you grew tighter with Judah, from Judah visiting Dallas, and then you eventually moved down to Austin. In that, what can you tell me about your experience that you had with Bishop Kanai in regards to business, anything scriptural, doctrine? Elaborate for me what was your experience dealing with Kanai.
All right. Okay, so I met Judah when we had the little pastor debate, and then after that, Judah ended up moving to Austin. But when he moved to Austin, he used to spend a lot of time in Dallas. I would say darn near every Sabbath or every other Sabbath he was in Dallas. He never mentioned anything about Austin and what was going on in Austin at the time, and I kind of found it odd because he was, always in Dallas. So, of course, fast forward, I ended up having a divorce, and I ended up moving to Austin, into Judah's house, and I had my 3 kids living with Judah. From there, I had to deal with the divorce issues, legal issues, and so 2 of my kids ended up moving back with Judah, and then it was myself and one of my children. In the process of that, I ended up getting to know Bishop Kanai, and through that, I ended up kind of building a relationship with him because I would go to his house and we would study and go over the scriptures. And at that time, there was anything as far as doctrine-wise between him and myself. We were just basically going over Christ and stuff like that. So it was no strange doctrine that I got from him. We didn't get to build a relationship in terms of the scriptures like that. We just studied a lot. From there, I was given a 50 test because I did some things when I came to the congregation, so they wanted to raise me up. And then after that, I had spoken to him in terms of some business things. And so one of the things that I had was this business called Event Shofar. It's similar to like using Eventbrite, and I was able to use that for the Passover. So once I started doing that for the Passover, him and I began to build an even bigger relationship.
So which Passover was that? Was that the
this was Passover? This was going to be for Passover 2018. And this took place in November of 2017 when he, allowed me to be over with Event Shofar.
Okay.
So with that, like I said, I was having my legal issues due to my divorce and stuff like that. One of the things I wanted to do was, for my son's sake at the time, I wanted to relocate and move out of Texas so I can have full custody of him. So an opportunity presented itself where it was Judah was talking about moving back to Kentucky. I had thought about it. I wanted to do the same thing as well because we went to the grand opening and I was able to go there. And so I'm like, okay, cool, let's go there and help Kentucky build. So I went back to Austin, and during the course of one of the conversations that I was having with Bishop Kanai, he kind of asked me if I was thinking about moving to Kentucky, and I said yes. From there, he asked me to come to his house. And he wanted to talk about it. This was the first time he wanted to talk about it. So I said, okay. So I went to his house, and it was myself, Bishop Kanai, and it was Captain Uzziah. He's telling me that he would like for me to stay because he can help me in my business, and I can be, my business, not only can I do it for the Passover, but I can do it for Feast of Pentecost. I can do it for Feast of Tabernacle. I can do all the feast days, the high holy days and whatnot. My business can do those events. And so he was telling me that, I'd have to be right next to him and that he would be able to give me money. If it was money that I needed, he'd be able to do it. And then he was telling me that he'd be able to manipulate Bishop Nathaniel to get, whatever it is I want. And then he told me that, I needed to start traveling with him, and then I needed to start traveling to New York and get to know the deacons and get to know Bishop Nathaniel more. And I was a bit uncomfortable with that.
Why?
And so,
why were you uncomfortable? What about it made you uncomfortable?
Because I knew the business practices that was going on between himself and Judah, because he actually took me out to a restaurant, and he told me the business side of him and Judah and the issue that he had between him and Judah, and they were supposed to be getting a food truck business. And then he was telling me how he moved Judah down, and Judah was going to run the food truck business. It was him, Judah, and it was another brother that had money, and they was going to run a food truck business. And he was telling me how Judah came down, and he got impatient, and from there, it fell apart. From there, Judah ended up linking up with Bezaleel, and how he was upset about that, and how Judah became covetous, because Judah went into business with somebody who he had a falling out with, which was you, Bezaleel. And so that's what he was upset about. He was like, why would Judah go into business with someone who I had a falling out with and I don't deal with anymore? And so I told Bishop Kenai, because he was trying to tell me how covetous Judah was, and Judah was trying to be like him. And so I told him, I've never seen that. I said, me and Judah don't deal with business. I've never seen it before. I don't know anything about you and his situation. I said, I don't know anything about it. But he was like, you'll see it. Judah's covetous. And then he said, you can even ask it.
Before you keep going, so you knowing about the business dealings between Kenai and Judah was based on Kenai telling you about it, not Judah telling you about it, right?
Yeah, Kenai was the first one who told me about it.
Okay. So
then when Kenai, what's that?
No, I was going to say, that's cool. I just want to make that clear. So then you said,
Kenai was the first. He was the first one to tell me about it.
So you were saying that, he told you that he had a falling out with me, and that he was like, why would Judah want to go into business with someone that he had a falling out with?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Okay.
When I was at his house, the first meeting, yes.
Oh, that wasn't at the dinner wasn't at a restaurant, it was at his house?
Yeah, the first time he spoke about him and Judah going into business, that was at the dinner.
Okay.
And then when he asked me to come to his house, we spoke about the same thing, and then that's when he talked about the falling out with you, with Bezaleel.
Okay, so can you elaborate on that dinner?
Oh, the dinner was just basically, he said that he told Judah to move from Orlando to Austin.
Yeah.
And then when he moved from Orlando to Austin, how they were going to start a food truck business.
Right.
And that Judah was going to be running the food truck business, and that it was going to be him, Judah, and it was going to be another brother who had money, and he was basically going to be the one to fund it or whatnot. And so when Judah got down here, he just said Judah got impatient. Judah came in and he wanted to just start basically going to work, but they were still basically trying to put the plan together, but he just got impatient. And so from there, it just fell apart, because he said Judah, started doing some other things.
Yeah, I understand.
So that was in there. That was at the restaurant. And then at his house, that's when he mentioned that Judah started to go into business with Bezaleel, and why would he go into business with somebody that he had an issue with? And so that's what he was saying, that Judah was covetous, because he took someone who he was dealing with, and then he started going into work with him. He said that all his peers don't like him, and that even his peers take issue with him. And he said that, the people on the outside, they like Judah because they don't know him, but if you ask his peers, they'll tell you. So what I did is, when he told me that, because I asked him, I said, well, can I reach out to him? And he said, go ahead. So I contacted two of his peers. One of his peers was Captain Hoshea, and then the other peer was another captain who Judah was close with. And so I spoke to both of those captains, and neither one of them had anything bad to say about Judah, like nothing negative at all. And I told them I was thinking about moving to Kentucky with Judah, and what did they think about that? And both of them was like, cool, no problem with the brother. The first one was Captain Hoshea. The second one was Captain Kabosh. In that same meeting, the first meeting, he was going in on Judah so bad, and it was always about Judah, because even one of the purposes of me being there was to talk about the divorce and all the issues that I had going on and what the things that, I needed to take care of. And I don't even really think we scratched the surface on my situation, because it was always about Judah and the issues that he had with Judah, to the point when he asked me why was I moving to Kentucky. That was a lie that I told him, because I told him that I was moving to Kentucky because I had built some relationships with some brothers that I had met at the Feast of Tabernacle. And the reason why I had told him that is because this whole thing was storied around Judah, and I was trying to get away from that. I didn't want to deal with it. I didn't want to talk about it no more. He was obsessed with it. So that's the lie that I had told him, and that was the reason why I had told him that, because I was tired of talking about Judah. So he told me to think about it, if I was still going to go to Kentucky. And on the first meeting, I told him, yes, I was still going to Kentucky. So when I left, I'd probably say maybe a week or so went by, and I had a second meeting at his house about it. And it was myself, it was Bishop Kanai, and it was Captain Uzziah. And it was more so of the same. He was asking me if I was going, and I told him I was still going. And then that's when he told me that if I was to go to Louisville, that I was going to get the same treatment as Judah. And I found that kind of odd or whatnot. And so during the course of the conversation, at the end of it, he asked me again if I was going to Kentucky, and I told him yes, I was. And then that's when things started to change between himself and myself.
Before you keep going, prior to that particular meeting, did Judah ever badmouth Kanai to you, or like?
No, because I used to go to Kanai's house. Judah would fall back, but he would never tell me why he would fall back. He was just telling me, yeah, go over to Kanai's house, it's cool. Go over there and hang out and have a good time. And I would go to Kanai's house by myself and barbecue, or go through scriptures and stuff like that. But Judah would just stay at the house. But he never said anything about Kanai. Anything. Even when I used to see things and notice things myself, as far as, him talking about Judah and stuff like that, he would never badmouth Kanai. So no, he never said anything.
Okay, so going back to the meeting, so it's you in Kanai's house. Who else is there?
And this was the second meeting. It was myself, Kanai, and Uzziah. And then that's when, he told me that if I was going to go to Kentucky, that he would do the same thing to me that he's going to do to Judah. And then at the end of the conversation, he asked me if I was still going, and I said yes, and that was when things pretty much changed for me.
Now, a seventh characteristic of the covert narcissism is passive-aggressive behavior. And well, the overt narcissist, when they get aggressive, they're going to let you know in no uncertain terms, and they can go into name-calling and harshness and forcefulness and bluntness. Whereas the covert narcissist, they may go to that at some point, but very often they just may walk out of the room, or it may be that they'll just go for long periods of time and just be evasive and not speak with you. They can slam doors, they'll cut you off in mid-sentence, or they can promise to do something to help you out, and then they won't do it. All of that is their way of saying, you bug me, I'm angry at you, but it's being done in a passive kind of way. And actually, I refer to passive-aggressive anger as control with the least amount of vulnerability, keeping in mind that the covert narcissist, they don't want to make themselves nearly as vulnerable as the overt narcissist typically does.
And then at the end of the conversation, he asked me if I was still going, and I said yes, and that was when things pretty much changed for me. And that's when originally I was just supposed to be over the Passover, because we had a meeting at the school with all the officers and the captains and the high-ranking brothers. And we had what was that meeting? It was about the security system that we was putting in there.
Right. Hey, hold up real quick before we move on. When he said he's going to do to you the same thing he's doing to Judah, or was going to do to Judah, at that point, did you know what it was?
No. At that point, I didn't know what it was. But after that is when things started to change for me, though.
Right.
And what I mean by that is, again, I was just supposed to be doing the Passover part of it, because he even told the men when we had the security meeting, all those that was in there, do not give Maserati anything, because he's just going to be doing the Passover, and that requires a lot of work because that's registration. And then on top of that, I was dealing with the financial part of it. So he's like, don't give Maserati anything else to do. But once I told him I was going to Kentucky, that's when he put me in the rotation to go to San Antonio, and then that's when he put me over some other things to do in the congregation. And again, I was already doing the Passover registration. I was doing the finances. Then on top of that, I was still having to go to Dallas and deal with my legal issues and still trying to deal with the custody issues that I had with my children and whatnot. And I was still trying to sell my house at the same time.
Right, I remember that vividly because I had bought a car from you that, unknowing to me, it was under your wife's name when y'all was still in good standing. So I was actually dealing with you like very frequently, and I remember you had to elaborate on some of these things with me, and even myself, I was just kind of like, I couldn't really say nothing because I know if I say anything, I'm gonna be sowing discord about Kanai to you. But at this point, is your system, your event shofar system, is it up and running? Is it being used? Are you taking registrations and all that stuff?
Yeah, we were up and running in November. So we was doing registration. We was taking the funds. We were doing all those things at that time. So yes, we was up and running.
First, we have Passover coming up. Brothers and sisters, jump online. It's time to register. Event Shofar. Jump online. Was it Event Shofar? Yeah, it's on Event Shofar to register for Passover. We're talking about members of IUIC, those that are in good standing. That's part of us. Go to your camp leaders. They'll give you the login information so you can register. Passover is April 3rd through the 7th in Atlanta, Georgia. Again.
Event Shofars. That's your website, right?
Yeah, it's mine. Until I clicked on it this morning and saw that it was being used, and it was mine.
So how is it IUIC still has it even though you're gone? What happened?
Obviously, it had to be through my old business partner, Joseph, because what happened was after we did the last event with IUIC, he called me, and he said that he didn't want to do it anymore, and he said he was out. He was done. And so he asked me if I wanted to use the system, Event Shofar, and keep it. And I said, yeah. I said, I'll take the whole thing. He said he was going to move on and do other ventures, and he no longer wanted it. So I told him, I said, yeah, I'll take it. I'll use it. And next thing you know, IUIC is using it.
So wait.
And I tried to respond and get a hold of him. I shot him messages and he won't respond.
So they just took your business?
Yes.
And you did not give him consent to do so?
Nope. Like I said, he gave it to me. He called me and said he wanted nothing to do with it.
Why? Why do you think he said that?
He just told me, all I can go by is what he told me. He said he wanted nothing to do with it no more, and he was moving on, and he's going to be doing other things. And I said, that's cool. I said, that's fine. And he asked me if I wanted it, and I said, yes. I said, I'll take it. And he said, okay. He said, it's all yours.
The business was divided how?
Yeah, it was 50-50. Initially, it was 50-50. It was his and mine. Everything split down the middle. But he gave it to me, and it became mine, 100% mine. He said he didn't want nothing to do with it anymore.
Wow. I'm at a loss for words.
Yeah, it became mine. And I had, like I said, I haven't heard anything. Next thing you know, I hear they're using Event Shofar. That's how I found out the same way everybody else found out.
And they didn't compensate you any money behind it?
No, goodness no. The only money that was exchanged is whenever we was in business together. And after the last exchange of, the funds from the last business, he wanted out after that. He called me and said he wanted out, and he was done with it. And he said, I can have it.
And he hasn't made any effort to make sure his part is signed over to you?
No.
Now, did you sign off and relinquish your part of the business?
Nope.
And has any leadership in IUIC reached out to you in regards to this?
I haven't heard anything from anybody. Like I said, I shot them text messages or whatever, and no response.
Do you want them to use your business?
No, but my thing is, what can you do about it?
So they just gonna use your business to flow thousands of dollars to themselves and not cut you nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that's how the system works. You know, they don't have to go to the other nations, and they save money by doing so. And then you make money by doing so, by not going to the other nations.
This is Jeremiah 22:13. It says, "Woe unto him that buildeth his house by unrighteousness, and his chambers by wrong, that useth his neighbor's service without wages, and giveth him not for his work."
Right, I understand that, and it's stealing. Last year when I was doing this towards the end, because I told Kanai I was leaving, they started to cut me out of my business. So now this shows you that I wasn't lying.
So if you up and running, you doing what you're supposed to do. Initially, you're being told you're going to be solely dealing with the Passover stuff. And then from what I'm hearing, since you decided not to do what Kanai told you to do, now you're getting more tasks that was on top of everything. So that's where you left off at. You were saying that, you were dealing with your divorce. You was dealing with the custody, the selling of your home, going back and forth to Dallas.
Yep.
All right, can you continue from there?
Yeah, so one of the instances was I was in Dallas. I come back from Dallas, and then all of a sudden I'm being written up by Captain Jeremiah and Officer Azaniah. And I was upset about it, and then we're having a conversation, and he's like, yeah, I remember, this is Captain Jeremiah. He was like, I remember in that meeting, Bishop Kanai told you that you wouldn't have to be doing anything, and that's all you're going to be doing is the Passover. And I said, yeah, I know. And so I told him, I said, this is wrong. And he said, I know it is, but I got to write you up anyway because he told me I had to. So that was one of the things that happened. And then also, even in my business, he cut me out of my own business in terms of the meetings. My business partner called me and said that Kanai and Uzziah was asking to, speak with him and have dealings with him, but they were leaving me out of it. And he told me he was uncomfortable with that. And I told him, don't worry about it. I said, well, what'll happen is you and I can converse with each other before the meetings, and then have your meetings with them too. And then after that, just tell me what happened. And I said, don't even worry about it. And he was like, yeah, man, all of a sudden they call me and they want me to do all these dealings and not have you to be involved in it.
Right. What gave Kanai the power to be able to do that?
The only thing I know that would give him the power to do that is he's a bishop. Even though it was supposed to be about business, but he's a bishop, and he didn't like the fact that I was moving, and he definitely didn't like the fact that I was moving to be with Judah, to go help build Kentucky, to build up the IUIC camp. Because when we went to the grand opening, you had Deacon Yawasop and Captain Hananiah who was there, and we had a conversation with both of them and told them that, we were going to be moving to help the Kentucky school grow, and both of them said it was a good idea. They said we both work well together, and he said, both of them said that IUIC Kentucky has an opportunity to be the biggest school, if not the biggest school in IUIC. Matter of fact, when we went there, we even took pictures, and I know Judah did a video as well. So no, it was not to go and do our own thing. Matter of fact, I still have the pictures on my phone. So no, we weren't going to start our own thing.
Okay, so what happened next?
Another instance is when I went to Atlanta. I'm driving in the U-Haul vehicle with Lance, with Judah. Actually, a week before that, he knew that I wanted to go to Atlanta. And again, because he was upset at me, he said that I was going to have to basically fund my own way to go, which I didn't have no issue with that. It is what it is. But the next week after that, I ended up going with Judah or whatnot. And so we're almost in Atlanta, and I get a phone call, and I'm speaking to Bishop Kanai over the phone. He's like, how y'all doing? Because he knew I was going. So he calls us. He's like, how y'all doing? Where y'all at right now? When y'all get there, give me a call, so on and so forth. We get there, we call them, and we let them know that we there, and, we proceed to do the Passover business. But when I get back, Officer Azaniah and Captain Jeremiah, they pulled me aside, and they ended up saying they have to write me up again. And I said, well, why am I being written up? I said, Bishop Kanai knows that I was going to Atlanta, and he knew I was in Atlanta because I spoke to him on the phone. He said, yeah, I know, but you didn't tell Captain Uzziah. And I said, okay, Captain Uzziah, I might not have called him and told him I was going. I said, that's because Bishop Kanai knew that I was going. And he looked at me with that same, face, like, yeah, I know face, and they wrote me up again. So that's when I knew that he was basically upset and that he was out to get me, because he already told me back in November that if I was going to go with Judah, the same thing was going to happen to me that's going to happen to him. So I knew that it was going to be a setup from the beginning. So after that, it just basically went downhill from there. I had a third meeting, and this was the third and final meeting. It was myself, Bishop Kanai, Captain Uzziah, and Deacon Abiel. And in that conversation, I even tell Bishop Kanai, I said, Bishop Kanai, you were threatening me, because this was in the second meeting. He told me what he was going to do to me. So in the third meeting, I said, Bishop Kanai, you're threatening me. And he said, you damn right I am. He said, nobody is over him with the exception of Bishop Nathaniel. He said, so it is what it is. You do what I tell you to do, and no one can basically tell him anything except for Bishop Nathaniel. So that's when I looked at Deacon Abiel, and I looked at Captain Uzziah, and they said nothing about it. And like I said, he said, I said it. I said, you're threatening me. He said, you damn right I am. So I knew the gig was up pretty much after that. It just went downhill from there.
I remember one time you came to my house, you were stressed, and I asked you what was wrong, and you started elaborating on some of this stuff. And I remember you told me that he told you and Judah are doing just enough.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah, this was, it was a Sabbath. He took Judah outside, and him and Judah was having a conversation. So after the Sabbath, me and Judah go home, and on the ride home, that's when Judah was telling me that he had that conversation with Kanai. And Kanai was saying that basically we were doing just enough, because if he was to do anything now, people would be suspicious of why he's doing it. But he was like, yeah, you're doing just enough where he can't do anything right now.
He told that to you too, or it was just Judah?
No, he just told that to Judah. And then Judah had told me about it.
Okay. Then you doing just enough. I mean,
yeah.
I think we were all under the suspicion that Kanai was trying to get rid of Judah, trying to get rid of whoever else was near him. Even myself, I was like, he's trying to get rid of me too. But that, I just want your testimony here. So now tell me again about the business stuff, because I remember we spoke before on the call. So I remember you had said to me that he bypassed you in your own business, went to the guy that you was in business with, tried to cut you out, right, by not communicating with you.
Right.
And then how did it end where Event Shofar wouldn't be doing the registrations no more for Passover?
Right, that's because, again, I had made the decision to leave. And so after the Passover, we got the amount that was, told that we was going to get. And then that was pretty much it, because right after that is when I was, stood up, and, I was no longer in the congregation at the time. And again, like I said, he had already told me, he said if I stay next to him, he can give me anything I want. And then that's when he was telling me that I can be able to do all the events for the school. But once I told him I was going to leave, he said that, that's not going to happen anymore, because he wanted me to be next to him. And I was trying to get away from him, because you had the issue with yourself, you had the issue with Judah, and then also, I remember having the Passover in Dallas, and everything was sent to my house, from original royalty to the candles, to the lamb, and then you had, some garments that were sent there, and you had people calling asking about, their garments, and they ordered them, and these people said they never received them. And then when I was going through my divorce, I went back to my house, and it was 2 bags, And in the 2 bags, there was garments in them, and those garments belonged to other people. And we ended up putting them in a storage unit in, my place in Texas.
How many garments were in each bag?
I couldn't tell you. I just know it was 2 bags, like 2 of the black trash bags.
The big contractor bags?
Yeah, it's like 2 bags of garments in there.
Okay,
and
so that's not those are not small. Those are not small bags, basically.
No, you had people during Passover that was calling me and asking me about their garments from the year prior.
If someone purchases something from you and they are unable to get a hold of you, you haven't sent them the item or service, you haven't fulfilled the service that they paid for, you haven't sent them the items that they paid for, you have not provided the correct communication, that's not a business. What you've done is you have taken money from your brethren, but you have given nothing in return. They didn't give you money for a donation. They gave you money because they trusted you to provide the product or service that you, as the website owner, as a service provider, said that you could fulfill. Not dealing with your brother correctly. As a matter of fact, you're going against the scriptures because you're dealing falsely with your neighbors. I don't care what the situation is. It should not take you 30 to 60 days to get back with somebody that you haven't even sent their product out. You cannot just continue to deal falsely with your brothers and sisters by not contacting them when they've spent their hard-earned money to support your business. All right, so that's all I got for today. Listen, if the shoe fits, wear it.
Which is a funny thing. You had people asking me about the maroon garments and said that they had never received them. And then people was complaining that they had to order the new garments and they never received their old garment. And so you had a lot of people who, who was concerned about ordering the new garments because that was one of the things that was being passed around along Israel. People was either getting their garments late or they never received them at all, or their garments were didn't fit correctly. So now that was when the year prior is when everybody had to buy garments, and then I was uncomfortable because here's another year and we had new garments when we just bought the year before brand new garments, and so the following year you had to get new garments. And those new garments were around $200. And so a lot of people was calling and saying that they couldn't afford the new garments, but it was mandatory that you had to buy the garments from Ancient Linens, which is owned by Bishop Kanai. I remember there was a brother in Alabama, I'm not going to say his name, but he would call me. I remember he called me, and his concern was he couldn't afford these garments. And he asked me, could his wife make him a garment? And I told him, yeah. I said, if your wife can make you a garment or any other sister, have them make you a garment. There's no law against that. But he was afraid because he knew that if, somebody found out that he could get in trouble. I remember the same thing for St. Louis, that the sister in St. Louis was told that she couldn't make any garments for any brothers or sisters. You had to get them from Ancient Linens. And like I said, they was right around $200. And so now, even this year, in 2019 coming up, there's new garments coming out. So every year, there's new garments coming out, and you have to buy them from Ancient Linens, Bishop Kanai. And I was uncomfortable with that. And I didn't want to do any type of business practices like that.
I remember we were talking before about the registration thing, that you were saying that the registration should have been no more than $100.
Well, I mean, it just depends. Like, if you do the numbers, all I can say about it is it didn't have to be as expensive as it was. If you do the numbers wise, me, being on the financial part, yeah, it could have been cheaper. How much cheaper? I don't have an exact number, but yeah, it could be pretty expensive to go. And again, that's because, you people get a certain amount of money, from the congregation.
Because I remember we spoke about it one time, and you mentioned that this was things that made you uncomfortable in the business practices.
Right.
Was the
the business side, like I said, the dealings with yourself, the dealings with Judah, and then the things that he told me, if I'm next to him, all the things that he can do for me, and he can give me money. He said if it's money you want, I can manipulate Bishop Nathaniel. And then he was offering me all the the events for the congregation. And all I had to do was be next to him, and he was going to give me all that stuff. And so that made me uncomfortable, made me very uncomfortable.
And so, in you pulling away, you talked about the repercussions of you pulling away, being scrutinized in church business dealings, being demoted or getting demerits, right? You wasn't demoted, you got demerits.
Yeah, I got demerits.
Right.
I got written up.
So, in leading up to you being with the judgment, let's talk about that real quick. I remember in watching the judgment that happened with you, you was trying to explain what transpired in the conversation with those two brothers. And what I noticed in the judgment, I think everybody else would notice, is that Kanai is really leading the witness on what he's saying. The brother gives a very vague, and then it tries to exaggerate what he's saying, as if, you know, what you guys told him were orders for him to move or something like that. So in that, you didn't really get to speak on it. You were told to just basically
say yes or no.
Say yes or no. Right. So if you could elaborate on that again, what would you say this time?
Right. So what happened was the two brothers came from Houston to visit the Austin camp. And after the class, the brother approached me, the first brother, forgive me because I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but the brother approached me, and he was just talking about how the vibe is different in Austin than it was in Houston. And so he was talking about moving to Austin to be with me in Judah, because he watched Daily Bread. So he was like, yeah, he's thinking about moving up there to be close to me in Judah. And I told him, I said, hey, if you talking about moving here with me and Judah is going to be moving to Kentucky. And then he goes, oh, really? So he asked me, you know, when we were going and why we were going. And I explained to him we were trying to be going like around May time frame, and we was going to help build Kentucky. That was really the conversation. And so we went outside, and when we was outside, we were talking about the things that was going on in Houston. And he was telling me the mistreatment that was going on between the brothers and sisters in Houston, and how it was Captain Yadon and the things that he was doing. And I just told them brothers to hang in there. And so he was interested in now asking information on us going to Kentucky. And so after that, I hadn't spoken to him for quite some time. Matter of fact, my phone number had changed to the point where they contacted Judah and was like, hey, I haven't spoken to Maserati in a while. And Judah called me and was like, hey, call these brothers because they're trying to get a hold of you. And I didn't speak to the brothers. I spoke to them maybe 2 times on the phone. And then after that, I hadn't spoken to them for months until the Passover had came. And so the brother himself, when I had spoke to him, he contacted his job, and he said that he was going to get a transfer. It wasn't anything like I had made him or I had told him to go or nothing like that. He did all the research and all the looking for himself, him and the other brother. And so when I got to the judgment, I was taken back because they were trying to say that I made the brothers. And I'm like, no, he wanted to move there because me and Judah said we was moving there. And I even told the brother, don't be moving nowhere like to Kentucky and try to put that on me. If you decide to move there, it's on your own, and you moving there because you want to be there. And that was the conversation that we had. It was not anything like I was trying to keep it a secret from Kanai, because Kanai already knew that I was leaving. And so even during the judgment, one brother was saying that I was going up there to start my own team. And then the other brother was saying, no, he was going to build up the school in IUIC. And then the other brother was saying also that leadership knew. He was like, yeah, I thought leadership knew that this was happening, so he didn't think nothing of it.
I know what I noticed from that whole thing was that even when they had the part of their stories conflicting, Kanai just got more agitated and basically told him.
The second brother, especially.
Yeah, and then he kind of like shut him down, and then what they call he cross-examined them, right? In other words, he leads the question, and he really just wants them to either agree or disagree.
Right.
So, and even with the judgment, you know, what people need to realize is that Kanai was not supposed to be part of that judgment. Reason why is because he's the one that... You understand? That's like in court, if the judge is in any way, shape, or form related, either in business dealings or any kind of dealings with the defendant or the prosecutor, right? He has to. It's another person has to judge it because it's a conflict of interest. So and even with that whole situation, I'm gonna ask you this question: in all this stuff that happened, did Deacon Abiel ever come to talk to you and hear your side of everything?
No.
Did Hoshai ever come to you to hear your side of everything?
Nope.
Did Jeremiah ever come to you to hear your side of everything?
No.
Did Uzziah ever come to you to hear your side of everything?
No.
And what about Azaniah?
No.
So all those men up there that had to judge the matter and they did not go and hear what y'all had to say.
Nope.
There you go. Biased, one-sided judgment. Not applying the commandment. So basically, where did they get all their information from?
They got it from Bishop Kanai.
There you go. There you go.
They got it from Bishop Kanai because I even asked during the judgment if I could say something, and Deacon Abiel was like, "Nope, yes or no."
Right.
And then he tried to make the part about when Bishop Kanai was like, "You lied to me, Masharati," and I said, "Can I explain it?" That was the one where I was talking about in the first meeting, where he was talking about Judah's covetous and how could he go into business with Bezaleel, and his peers don't like him. So I didn't want to talk about that no more. So I said, yeah, I'm leaving because of other people, not Judah, because it was a Judah fest. The hatred for Judah, I couldn't understand it. And then he's trying to drag me in the business part of it, and I'm telling him I don't do business with Judah. I know nothing about what y'all got going on. So he didn't want me to explain that part because he knew the second meeting I told him, and I explained that to him, and I apologized. And he was cool with that. He said he understood.
Right. What prompted you not to come back initially?
It was because of all the stuff, because I had got a phone call from Deacon Abiel, and he wanted me to go to Houston. And so he goes, "Hey, Mosh, I want you to come to Houston because, you know, we're all going to be down in Houston this Sabbath." I said, okay. He asked me if I'm going to make it, and I said, yeah. I said, but if anything changes, I'll let you know. And then he goes, well, you got to make sure that we're all on one accord. And I said, on one accord? I said, what does that mean? And he goes, well, you know, you and Judah are linked together. Y'all two are tied together. And so they're going to be asking you questions pertaining to Judah. And I said, I have nothing to do with Judah. I said, Judah lives in Kentucky and I live in Austin. And I said, I'm here in Texas and I'm here taking care of my son. He goes, okay. And then he goes right back into it again. And he tried to make it about, I got to be on one accord because they going to speak about Judah. And they want me to be in agreement with the questions they were going to ask me about Judah. And that was pretty much when I made the decision that I wasn't going to come back.
And that was going to be what, questions in front of the congregation about Judah?
Yep. Absolutely. It was going to be questions in front of the congregation, and they were going to be about Judah. And that was from Deacon Abiel. That was out of his own mouth. And he said we got to be on one accord.
All right. Anything else you want to add, brother?
Yeah. I just want to say that this all had everything to do with business and nothing to do with sin inside of the congregation. This all stemmed from a personal issue that Kanai had with Judah, and then an issue if you don't do what he asks you in terms of business, then these are the results of that. So it had nothing to do with any type of personal sin towards him or any type of sin in the congregation. As a matter of fact, when I knew all this stuff was going on at Passover, I reached out to Bishop Kanai. I called him over and over. I sent him a text message and I told him if I wronged you, if I did anything to you, I apologize. I actually exercised Matthew 18, and he never responded to any of my calls or text messages until the day I had to stand up for judgment.
Now, a seventh characteristic of the covert narcissism is passive-aggressive behavior. And well, the overt narcissist, when they get aggressive, I mean, they're going to let you know in no uncertain terms, and they can go into name-calling and harshness and forcefulness and bluntness. Whereas the covert narcissist, they may go to that at some point, but very often they just may walk out of the room, or it may be that they'll just go for long periods of time and just be evasive and not speak with you. They can slam doors, they'll cut you off in mid-sentence, or they can promise to do something to help you out and then they won't do it, All of that is their way of saying, you bug me, I'm angry at you, but it's being done in a passive kind of way. And actually, I refer to passive-aggressive anger as control with the least amount of vulnerability, keeping in mind that the covert narcissist, they don't want to make themselves nearly as vulnerable as the overt narcissist typically does.
We all know that because that was broadcast. Now, let me ask you, because I know the next day you got a call from Nathaniel. Judah got a call, or either called Nathaniel, got a call from Nathaniel as a witness. And then I called Nathaniel as a witness in regards to the dubious business practices with Kanai and, you know, how he's been doing this to all of us already. Can you elaborate on what you told Nathaniel?
Yeah, because I actually reached out to him and I shot him a message. I sent a message to him, Bishop Kanai, and Captain Uzziah, I believe, was on it too, and I told them that I wasn't coming back. And it was because of he told me what he was going to do to me. He did it. And I felt like, you know, I wasn't protected or whatnot. So he called me and he asked me what was going on. And I told him, I said, the stuff that Bishop Kanai is doing, it had to do with business. And it had nothing to do with sin. And so he asked me, he said, well, Mosh, you know the same thing happened in Dallas with Deacon Shakya. Why didn't you reach out to me and say anything? And I said, if you want me to be honest with you, Bishop, I said, I didn't reach out to you because I thought you was in on it just like he was.
And what made you think that?
Because nothing can be done without the knowledge of Bishop Nathaniel knowing. Nothing can be done. Because he even came down when we were doing the security thing, and he was there when Bishop Kanai said that I was going to be doing the Passover in the system, and I wasn't going to have to be doing anything else. He was aware of all that. He was there. He was there. So when we had that conversation, you know, when he called me and I told him everything that was going on, he said that he was going to look into it. And so after that, I didn't hear anything else from him. So I just had a feeling that, you know, he wasn't naive to the situation that's going on, because there's no way that we're going to be standing up during Passover. Mind you, it's still the Feast of Unleavened Bread and all that. You mean to tell me he doesn't know about all that? He knew that the judgment was coming, so nothing gets by him. And I even told him, though, during that conversation, I said, Bishop Kanai said that he knows how to manipulate you. He said, if I want anything from him, let him know, then because he can manipulate you to get anything that he wants. And Bishop Nathaniel, he laughed at it. But it wasn't like a regular laugh. It was like he was kind of upset type of laugh. But I told him. That day I told him.
Right, and I told him the same thing, and so did Judah. You got three witnesses on that.
Yeah, I told him that. And then that was, you know, after we hung up, that was the last time I spoke to him about it. So.
And what was his response to you at the end? What did he tell you? What was going to happen, what he was going to do?
Yeah, he said that he was going to look into it. He was going to look into it, see what's going on, and then he was going to get back to me and let me know. And he never got back to me in regards to that.
You know, if your last conversation with the man is, you know, you confessing to him everything that's going on, did he ever follow up with you on this?
No, he never followed up with me on that. So for me, when I watched the classes, he just protecting his brand and his name. So I understood it, and like I said, when he started doing classes about us, I knew that he wasn't going to do anything, and he's going to protect whatever it is that he had going. Like, again, I hadn't done any type of sin against them, so when he started speaking stuff against myself, it was my own personal life that he was speaking out on. It wasn't anything that I had did in the congregation and no sin involved. It was my own. He was taking personal shots at me. No sin, just personal shots.
And this was before... after you decided you wasn't gonna come back, and you made it.
This was after. This was after I decided I wasn't gonna come back, and then that's when you saw him posting in a private chat room about my wife in adultery, and the brothers are saying that I took her back. And one of the things I said is Bishop Nathaniel, he knew better than that. He knew I wasn't taking her back. So for him to be in a private chat and let the brothers talk about that, he was wrong for that because he knew better. And then, you know, him saying that he paid for my lawyer fees, he knew that was incorrect. I never received any type of money from him in terms of any type of lawyer fees. The only monies that I ever received from the congregation was through my business, and it was a legit business, and that's the only time I ever got money from them. Outside of that, I got no help from them. None. Even when I needed it, I never got it. So.
Does this include while you was in Dallas as one of the senior men?
Yeah. Yeah, I never received anything from them.
All right, brother. Thank you so much.
All right, I appreciate it. Shalom.
All right, shalom.
Shalom, Israel. Bless. Those of you who don't know, I'm Deacon Abiel. All praise be to the Most High God. It's beautiful here in Austin. Hospitality, once again, off the chain. Give me 1 Timothy chapter 5. We have to deal with something here, Austin. I need everybody's attention. I need everybody attentive, even online. Those that understand justice. 1 Timothy chapter 5 and verse 20. There's a reason why we're doing this openly and publicly, so that all may know and understand what's going on and there's no confusion. You got that?
The book of 1 Timothy chapter 5 verse 20.
Read.
Them that sin rebuke before all.
The scripture says, them that sin rebuke before everybody. Come on.
That others also may hear.
So hopefully you don't find yourself in the same stupid, sinful situation. First things first, Mashrathia, stand up. I need you to pan the camera on Brother Mashrathia. I have a question, bro. I need you to be honest with me. You heard today's class, right? Okay. Have you told brothers to keep things from leadership? It's either yes or no. Have you ever done that? Okay. I'm sorry? Have you spoke to brothers and told brothers not to tell the bishop about them moving or relocating or going to a different place?
No.
No. Okay. We have Rose stand up first.
Another mic.
We need another mic over here.
You got a mic over there, officer?
Is this true what Mashrathia is saying?
No, sir.
Okay, explain to me what happened.
In its entirety.
Sure.
January. Me and another brother came out.
Can everybody hear the brother?
No. I'm good?
Go ahead.
All right. January, me and another brother came out from Houston, as you're familiar with. We had issues.
Hold on one second. Mashrathia, do you recall this conversation now?
Yeah, I
so,
remember that.
So let me ask you again. Have you ever told a brother to withhold information from the bishop?
No, I never told him to withhold no information.
Okay.
Me and another brother came to congregate with Austin a few months back. We came, the body hadn't came yet. I'm sorry. We came to congregate, right? We had issues, as you would know, in Houston. I was coming out just to get a feel of the body here in Austin. Issues that we were having, I didn't make secret, neither was it a secret that we had things that we were dealing with back home. So I came out to Austin to get a feel of that Austin feel. And it was me and another brother. When we came here, the large part of the body wasn't here, but the brother was here, and we spoke outside. We briefly spoke inside, and we took the conversation outside. Pretty much told him what we came in town for. Let him know that we were dealing with things at home, and the brother understood the conditions that Houston was dealing with. So he agreed with what was happening. And he kind of just told me the backside of that, saying that, this thing isn't new and it had been happening. I came in after certain things had happened prior to me. Brother then told me what he thought was the core of the issue. That brother's in the room.
Which was what? What was the core issue?
Brother told me that you're done. Was the core of the issue. And he then told me about a situation that had happened at Feast of Tabernacles, where it was a situation that happened with him and the brother personally that he felt like was kind of over the top.
Right.
Which points to how some of the things were going on in the body was in that same way. So I felt that the brother understood. Yeah, long story short, he and I had a conversation. Brothers were starting to come in. The other brother was here as well. He and I had a conversation outside. Brothers started to come in. And he was like, hey, man, we got a situation that we're doing. You know, would you be willing to make a move? Would you be willing to come? Like, how serious are you about not being in that situation? And at the time, for my own personal reasons, you know what I mean? Yeah. Didn't feel like I was being used in the body. Didn't feel like I had a position to be used in the body. So I didn't feel as though I was even needed to be, you know what I mean? So with that being said, I'm like, yeah, sure, definitely consider that thing. If there's work to be done, you feel as though, you know, I'm a able-bodied brother to get the work done. I feel as though my spirit is right to do so. I'm down. Other brother who's with me say he's down. But it says, okay, you know, just kind of keep it low. You know, don't say anything. While we're talking, Bishop pulls up in the van with his family. He says, before the conversation ended outside, the brother told me, said, don't let this conversation get outside of this right here. And don't tell the bishop. It is what was said. And I did that. I held true to that. I didn't want to be out of order. I didn't know if that move or that establishment in this other place would be announced by leadership or what. I'm a brother at the time. I don't know. I'm just going with the flow. I'm not trying to, you know what I mean?
Understand.
So I did that.
You were a brother, and he was an officer.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I took it as an order. I wanted to be in line with the order. Not that I was, I'm going to just play along. He didn't even come off that way. I thought it was something that was already established amongst leadership on that. So for me, it was, okay, when I know more, then I'll say more. And that basically was that. We spoke periodically about it. The other brother who's here, brother right here, he spoke with me periodically as well. Even established it as late as Passover, that this was still going to be.
Sorry, repeat that.
35. As a Passover, as recently as Passover, to my understanding, that this thing was still going to be done.
Right.
So until I got the other side of the story, and well, everybody knows what happened from that.
Okay.
Scripture says in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, so that is established. So he says that that's one person. You can't establish nothing on that. That's been other witnesses.
That's the mic. Go ahead and stand up, Rash. Shalom. Shalom. Your experience. Did Masharatia have the same conversation with you concerning moving to Kentucky to withhold that from the bishop?
Yes, sir.
Okay, explain what happened.
Okay, well,
You don't gotta take me through the whole thing.
Right. Came to Austin. We ended up going outside talking about certain things that were going on in Houston. Almost like maybe counseling. Okay, we gave us pretty much what he thought was the problem, and maybe a solution. And it was like, hey, we have something going on, or we planning something in Louisville, opening up a camp, a school, open up a school in Louisville.
You said open a school. There's a school there already. You talking about a school outside of IUIC?
Now, at the time, I'm thinking that it was going to be another school within IUIC. Did not know that there was a school already in Louisville.
All right, so now, I heard now. So now, there's one or two things. Bosh, either these two men are lying on you or they telling the truth.
That's not what was said as far as keeping it a secret.
Okay.
There was no secret between none of us. The thing about it is they
Stop. I heard you. You said there's no secret. So now I want you all to look at each other back and forth. That's what you're working with. Some of you said that you're going to uproot your families to go someplace, and he's saying that ain't it. So both of you got it wrong from what he's saying. Bosh, let me tell you something. And the reason why we're dealing with on this level right now is because of your perception online. I want the whole Facebook world to know something. You're disobedient. Amiel, stand up. He tried to recruit you to move also, right?
No, sir.
He never tried to recruit you to move to Kentucky.
No, sir.
Amiel, me and you had a conversation, Amiel, and you told me Maserati asked you to move to Kentucky.
Yes.
That's what I just said. Not that he told you to lie.
No. It's something that we had talked about.
Hold on. Let's get to a microphone.
Get him on. I'm gonna tell you something, Mosh. Go on, let me do Amiel. Did Mosh want to speak to you about leaving to Kentucky?
Well, it's something that we had spoke about together.
In the past?
Yes, sir.
Okay, right. But when I spoke to you about it, he came to you recent about it, right? That time when I spoke to you.
It wasn't to come to me to recruit me, no, sir.
What did he come to you for?
It was to talk about us moving to where exactly what we, because he know that.
He said, from your words, is that you'll be a good addition here to help us build, right?
Yes.
Okay, he came to recruit you. I know what I'm saying. I'm not talking okay, he was recruiting you. Here's the thing. There was only two men in Kentucky, in Dallas. Two men. This officer and another officer, 300 people. And I warned Marsh already about going. He didn't want to hear it. He didn't care. He had his own mind. He would sit there. He was mad because I told him about Judah, and he didn't like it. And he wanted to recruit you. And I told you it's a bad move for you. Fine, cool. These two men now are saying the same thing. You are working on your own. You are Officer 50. All praise to the Most High, built IUIC. You came and found this here. Now you're going to tell me you're going to start moving men? Look at me, Marshall, I'm speaking to you because you're disobedient. And I can see your spirit right now. You hate to be told. You can fake to everybody on Facebook, but you're disobedient. You're disobedient. Two witnesses. It didn't happen like that. Who are you to recruit anybody to go anywhere? Who are you to recruit anybody to tell them where to go? Thank you, Amiel. Now, I'm not calming down. I'm not calming down. And if you don't like it, Mosh, hit the door. Doors goes both ways. You came and find IUIC, you can leave. Or you can humble down under your father. You fake on that Facebook. When correction came to you, I let you stand down before demoting you. And I heard you and I stayed quiet. I didn't say nothing. I let you talk on Facebook about I wouldn't do nothing different. You crazy. Did you lie to me, Marshall, right there? Yes or no? Did you admit that you lied to me? I'm talking to you.
In regards to what, Bishop?
In regards to you lying to me about you had long-standing relationship in Kentucky. I said, why would you lie to me, Marsh? Judah told me, Amiel told me you didn't have no long-standing relationship in Kentucky. Did you acknowledge that you lied to me?
You gonna let me explain? Or?
I asked you, it's a yes or no question. I'm asking for yes or no.
Yeah, I did.
All right then. So you lied. So you established yes or no's from you. It's a father talking to his son. You lied. You admit that you lied. Judah told me, yeah, the reason why you going is because of him. He told me that. And I told you, so why would you lie to me, Mosh? Brothers act like I'm trying to hold you back in life. So we established you lied. So why would I believe now that you ain't lying with these two men? Two witnesses, in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, a matter is established. Your problem is that you don't want to be revealed in your Facebook world. That's where you all live in Facebook. You and Judah live in a Facebook world. Faking to the people.
Go ahead.
Okay. I already see how this is being angled up for Mosh. Apparently you brothers interpreted what Mosh said different, right? Here's how we nip all that in the bud. Let's say that Masharathi is correct, that he didn't say that. Not saying that's what he said, but let's, for argument's sake, say that he didn't say that, right? Myself and Bishop Kanai, and even Deacon Abiel was there as a witness in a different setting. There were multiple times in which Bishop Kanai and myself sat down with Masharathia, who was as an officer at the time, at the bishop's house, and Bishop gave very clear instructions for Masharathia, who was an officer at the time, not to go to Kentucky. Is that right, Mash?
Yep.
Okay.
Correct.
So we've established now that Masharathia for months has been under direct orders to not go to Kentucky. There's 3 brothers that are in this room saying that in spite of the bishop telling Masharathia to not go to Kentucky, he has gone beyond his own orders to now have other men go to a city he was told not to go. So, here's the $1 million question. From the time that myself and Bishop Kanai had spoken with former Officer Masharathia and told him on multiple occasions to not go to Kentucky, did Masharathia ever come back to you two and say, well, you know what? I need to fall back. This is called off because I'm under the orders of the bishop to not go to Kentucky. You.
No, not at all.
He never said that to. You, he never said that to. And that's how you know it's of the devil. That's how you know it's of the devil. Because the scriptures tell you that a man is going to counsel for himself. If you were already given orders, Masharathia, for you to not go to a city from a father, how would you tell other men to uproot their lives in the city where they're at to go to the same city as you? So what I'm trying to tell you, Mash, is even if you want to debate whether or not it was a lie to say, Bishop, don't say anything, you don't have a leg to stand on in this conversation. It was already wicked even without that, because when you were told not to do something, you started bringing other brothers into your own agenda.
And the sad part about it, and the reason why we're doing this, because let me tell you something, I've been real patient. I hold my tongue. I'm real patient because I understand all of us are trying to get right. All of us got things we're working out. But Marsh, I'm tell you something. You're disobedient. You're disobedient. And I'm telling you, for you all to understand the reason why I was told to stay here is because there's work for him here. There's work for him here. His mind was to stay here. For whatever reason, people change their mind. I get all that. But to be patient. Be patient. But Marsh is self-willed. He is self-willed. Judah is his father. Both of you together have been his truth longer than both of y'all. I foreseen Judah, you stood with me and watched the same thing happen with Raziel. Think he know everything? Where's he now? Worshipping stones. Hezekiah, where's he now? I'm watching for your souls. And that's what I'm so angry for, because I'm trying to help. But now I'm pissed off because there's other men, now I'm saying, you uproot their lives out of their city, come follow me. That Facebook stuff has fooled you. Both of you.
Mashrathi, you're shaking your head.
And that's his problem. He can't still.
Right. So you're telling me right now, both these brothers right here are evil as hell, right?
No, those are my brothers, of course.
Okay, so listen, Mashrathi. Right now is the time for you, with all the wisdom endowed upon you, to now, look at me, Mash, to now really save face. Forget everything else, but to now really deal with your soul. Both of these men are saying you told them not to tell the bishop, that you came to them and told them to withhold this information from leadership. Did you or did you not say that?
No, these are grown men. They can tell whoever they want.
Mashrathi.
No, the same reason why I told Bishop I was leaving after the meetings.
Mashrathi, in one breath you say that these are your brothers. Your brothers just said you said that. Is that a lie?
I'm telling you I didn't say that.
Okay.
I'm telling you I didn't say that.
You're a liar.
Okay, I didn't say that.
Mashrathi, you're a liar, brother.
Okay, Deacon.
Just like you lied concerning these relationships you got in Kentucky. And you apologized to the bishop. I was there for that. You got a lion spirit on you, bro. And we ain't gonna have that, bro. What you're causing is division. Is there anybody else you spoke? Now all of a sudden you spoke to people. Is there anybody else that you tried to get to go to Kentucky with you?
No.
So these
I told people I was leaving to go to Kentucky.
Are these the only two people that you tried to recruit to Kentucky?
And I wasn't recruiting anybody. I told him I was going, and then he said he can find a job, and that brother over there said that he can find one on their own. Matter of fact, I don't even have any numbers.
Stop. Let me say something. I'm going to tell you my years of experience, and I want you all to understand. I prayed about line, get this. This ain't my first rodeo. Rosh, Amiel, you know what you three have all in common? All three of you was disgruntled on some level with the leadership in your city.
Exactly.
You all had some, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. We are tired, whatever. I don't know so much about Lemuel, but when you disgruntled, every beast consorted with its own kind. They will prick at those spirits and try to find the one they can nibble on. That's what you all three had. I hope you all can see. I hope your spiritual eyes can see that. All three of you, by chance, had problems in the city you were in. And here comes the offer. Well, we could do something over here. We could do our own thing. Let's move. She was a follower anyway. Listen, I ain't through with you. You are disobedient, damn it. And I'm pissed because you're going to move these men away and sit here still lie. And why I'm so frustrated is because I kept my mouth shut so long and I wisely faked the funk and I just kept quiet. I allowed you to step down, didn't demote you, and you're on Facebook about, I wouldn't do nothing different. You admitted you lied to me. You apologized. And then you fake before everybody on Facebook that you got everything right. No, you don't.
Mosh, why can't you look over here?
No, because I'm looking at the brothers because they talked about leaving Houston before me.
Yeah, I'm talking. They might have talked about it. I'm just pissed off. They might have talked about it, but you knew that was the instruction I gave you, so why would you tell them that?
Bishop Kanai, when we was at your house with the meeting, after the meeting, you asked me if I was still leaving. All 3 times, I still told you yes.
You told me you was thinking about it.
I told you, you told me to think about it.
Okay, you told me, whatever the case may be. The point was, that these men are lying against you. These men are bearing false witness against you. You men are evil as hell. That's the point. But anyway, back to what Captain was saying. It doesn't make the fact that if you had a conversation, if you want to give him proper counsel, you say, well, listen, let me let you know, the bishop ain't really with me moving like that. Right. I make my own moves, but I'm just going to let you know, give them the information, let them decide for themselves. Let me tell you everybody what's going to happen. Y'all are going to go out there and try to build your own thing because you can't do an IUIC because I am IUIC. Judy should know that. I was there. You was with me in Louisiana. But then it could circumvent and go around. Not one time in all my life in this truth have I went up against Nathaniel. Not one time have I ever. Never. I'm telling you, novices, you 3 years in this truth, you're a novice lifted up in pride. That's your problem. Sit down or go.
And this is what you all need to see. These spirits, they'll look for those of you all that's disgruntled or upset. Those of you got a problem with something that's going on. And then here we are in the shadows. Hey, brother, how you feel about this? It's not a secret that, especially with those of you that are going through things or you get corrected and that brother, sister's watching. This is going to go on in every single congregation. Brother, sister gets corrected about something, or there's something ill going on. And there was something ill going on, Ro and Rosh, and we handled it. And what ends up happening is those spirits, they're perfect timing. They just come in right then, hey, listen, this is what we're going to do, y'all. Instead of taking it up the ranks. If any person comes to you and says, do not tell the bishop, they the damn devil. Why are you still here? We don't withhold secrets. The brother just said these are his brothers. They have no reason to lie against you, Masharathian. None whatsoever. And we've already established, yes, you deal with lying. Now's not the time to try to save face. It's time to save your soul. Quit playing. Whatever reason you want to go to Kentucky, fine. Now, I know Uzziah said orders, but the bishop was giving advice. Don't go. Just like at one point in time, I was given that advice not to go. I was told, Abiel, you're not ready yet. You got work to do here. Why are you leaving? Here it is, adversity came. Times got hard, and I wanted to move around. Bishop said, don't leave. What did I do? I listened. All praises be to the Most High God, I listened. Because had I went back, I went back in the world. Believe that? I'd have been back out there in the club. Do not let these spirits come and circumvent what leadership has already established. There's a reason why they're saying, don't tell nobody. There's a reason for that. And we're not going to allow that. That's division. Give me Romans, the 16th chapter. Before that, give me 1 Corinthians, 1st chapter, 10th verse.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 1, verse 10.
Read.
Now I beseech you, brethren, by the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, that ye all speak the same thing.
That ye what?
That ye all speak the same thing.
That we all have one mind, one body. We're all in unison. We ain't talking about keeping secrets. Don't tell leadership. Read.
And that there be no divisions among you.
That there be what?
That there be no divisions among you.
And that there be no divisions among you. Read.
But that ye be perfectly joined together in the same mind and in the same judgment.
And in the same judgment. It's my job to make sure that we are all speaking the same thing and there is no divisions amongst us. Give me Romans 16. Romans 16 and 17.
The book of Romans, chapter 16, verse 17.
Read.
Now I beseech you, brethren, mark them which cause divisions.
Mark them that what?
Mark them that cause divisions.
The Bible says to mark them. Masharathia is causing division. Trying to uproot these two men, and he don't even know where the hell he's going right now in his situation, in his life. He don't even, I asked the man, what's in Kentucky? Why are you going to Kentucky? What is in Kentucky for you? He says, nothing. I said, so why are you going there? Now, what Masharath wants to get up and explain is that there's so many surrounding things why he wants to relocate. Okay, fine. But you've expressed those things to leadership. You've expressed those things to the bishop. And bishop is giving you counsel. Don't go, brother. But if you want to go, do it. It ain't a wise move. You're not going to leave in the state that you're in and go back there and try to lead the congregation. No. But if you want to move, okay. Mark them which cause divisions. Come on.
Stop. And I want to tell you something. Please, I want you all to understand this. This ain't a Kanai thing. There's not one captain, one deacon, neither of the bishops that see it. None of them agree with it. All the leadership that helped forge this way, all praise to the Most High, not one of them see it. But there's something still, he's smart. He 3 years of the truth. I just gave him about 300 years worth of teaching. But in his mind, he just knows. And he got, brother, I'm telling you, you're going to make a mistake. You make so much mistake, and I'm a father to tell you out of love. I'm trying to stop you from doing something stupid. Like I tell my own little son, all my son, my birth son, y'all are idiots because you don't know nothing. And you don't know nothing not because of being stupid. It's because you got but so much time. You got to be traveled. It's hard for people to sit back and listen. I try to find ways to help brothers to listen, let me show you. But you know what happened? You memorize a couple scriptures, you got a little fan base, and here you go now. You know so much more. How many people have you seen run headlong like that? I can tell you I've seen it for so many years. So again, I'm saying not a deacon, not a captain, none of them see it. Only one see is Masharathia. Mash, you're going to fail. Ready you move, you're going to fail. So it's not in Kentucky, you're going to fail. You're going to always have problems because you're self-willed. You got to break that spirit. You got to learn how to humble down. And you too, Judah, you have to learn to humble because you don't have a humble spirit.
Read that again.
Now I beseech you, brethren, mark them which cause divisions and offenses contrary to the doctrine which ye have learned, and avoid them.
Mark them which cause divisions and offenses contrary to the doctrine which ye have learned, and avoid them. You are not going to be here, Masharathia, secretly trying to recruit and tell brothers to go here and keep it from leadership. Judgment is you're suspended. You can learn online. Matter of fact, keep in contact with Captain Uzziah. But you're suspended. Do you understand, Masharathia?
Stop. And we're going to find out if that's the same. You all heard his word. You said, yes, deacon. Or you're going to pull away and run into a division. I pray that's not the case for you, brother. You're going to get up in your feelings and pull away. If that be your case, shame on you.
Hold on, Mash. Judah, do you find anything wrong with this judgment? Is there a problem with this judgment? Do you understand yea or nay?
Yeah, I don't see it.
You don't see it?
I don't see the brother was lying. I spoke to them two brothers myself, and it wasn't never a secret thing. Y'all came to me. Well, you came to me. And it was never a secret thing. You never told me it was a secret thing.
So these two brothers are lying?
I'm telling you what I heard. They came to me.
We have two witnesses, Judah, that said that he said, do not speak to the bishop about it. In the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, Judah, shall the matter be established.
I can't say that them brothers are lying.
Okay, so by the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, the matter was established. That's what Masharathia told them, Judah. Do you understand the judgment? Yea or nay?
Absolutely.
Have a seat. Go ahead.
Give him a mic. Where's the mic?
All right. No, Deacon, in all honesty, I did speak with the brother outside. And in terms of anything secretive, that was never disclosed between me and him.
You and who?
Me and Judah.
No. I ain't talking about Judah. I'm talking about Masharathia.
Okay, but you asked him if it was in secret.
Meaning?
Based on the 2 witnesses.
Oh, okay.
Scripture says in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, a matter shall be established.
Okay, I thought.
But let's go beyond that. Because you can have 2 wicked witnesses that witness against something, and that's what they do. They vote for you. I'm not saying you are, but it could be 2 wicked witnesses witness against Mosh and ain't true. But it don't change the fact that Mosh was given counsel numerous times, and he went out to campaign to get people to move when I told him not to move. So if he's still going to do what he's going to do, it is what it is. But now you went out and campaigned, and that you can't refute.
Is there anybody confused about this judgment? Okay. Second order of business. Judah, stand up. Judah, I removed your rank from you because of disrespect to the bishop. Do you remember that? Give him a mic.
Yes, I remember.
Did you not confess your fault and say that that's what happened and that you repented from it?
Yes.
Okay. Yet again, Judah, we're back to square one with you. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Absolutely.
Okay. Did you disrespect Bishop Kanai yet again?
No.
Okay. Judah. Try to use my words wisely. Brother, you outright disrespected the bishop. You put up a video. 2 videos. In those videos, you were stating that people are running headlong with this stuff, making posts, whatever the case may be. Concerning what?
Concerning the blue waffle.
Right. Who were you speaking about that was doing this?
At the time when I made the videos, I seen a lot of people putting up a blue waffle, which I thought was out of order. That was before I even saw his post as far as the order.
Okay.
And the person, just so you know, the person that I saw that was the most direct with it was a brother, I ain't gonna say his name. I called him.
You called him?
Yeah, I called him.
Right. When you seen Bishop's post, what did you do?
What do you mean, what I do? It was the same thing. The videos are already out.
Did you call him?
Yeah, I sent him a text message. I sent him a message. I sent Captain Uzziah a message and Captain Amaziah. Because I saw those 3 in leadership that also put up the blue waffle. And I sent them a message.
Okay, Judah. You sent them a text message. You didn't pick up the phone like you said you would call the other.
No, sir, I did not pick up the phone.
Why not?
I don't know. I just didn't pick up the phone and call them. If that's my transgression, then I apologize.
Hold on.
But
whoa. No. Because yet again, Judah, one thing you're not gonna do, you ain't gonna fool me. You know who you was talking about. And that's why you texted him. You didn't call him like you called the other brother. In that message, you stated the leaven, this is leaven, and you'd be surprised where it's coming from.
What's the surprise about where it's coming from, Judah?
I put a message up and said, you'll be surprised when you find
I know, I seen it.
In
So
yourself.
where?
Look at yourself. Look at us. What we doing. I'm talking about the people that was putting up the blue waffle and other, everybody that was doing it.
So you telling me, Judah, that you did not see Bishop's post and that you were speaking about him?
I'm telling you no.
Okay, let me say this, Judah, because we can go back and forth with it. For those that don't understand this whole blue waffle thing, there is a demon out there that has been, she was part of the congregation one time. She's coming at the congregation back and forth for foolishness. Generally, anybody watching me on Facebook, I don't really get caught up in that foolishness. I'm not really striving back and forth with people about anything. That's not me. But the brother he's just recently married, and the sister's trying to throw salt on him. The person they talking about got herpes. That ain't no lie, that's the truth. Anyway, I posted a picture of a blue waffle. That's it. No words. I didn't say no name, no nothing. And I told people put it as their face profile pic. So it's technically. The reason I'm saying with you'd be straining at a gnat. You'd be straining at. That's the same thing last year with me acting like I'm peeling a Christmas tree. You got exception with that. And when I told you I was in the I was like, I don't see it. You went to the captains and tried to put a battery in Dave back. And the captains came and said, why is he started? You said something. Meanwhile, we will burn the white image of Christ. We will step on it. We'll crumple up. We'll throw it. The stuff you be looking for be nonsense. Christ called the Pharisees dead men bones, hypocrites. He calls oxes and ass, scum. John the Baptist calls vipers. Posting something, you waste your time with foolishness. It's like you're looking for something. And yes, I do think you took a shot. Can I go back and forth with you? Same thing with Paul Young. You took a shot, and that's the thing. People don't see that. Listen, Judah, you can say no, but the video said, women in this truth, 20 years. There's only 2 women in IUIC who's been 20 years plus. That's Paul Young and Shamara.
And that's not what the video said. It says people been in...
What? Okay, I'm saying, say it.
People been in a marriage 20 years, and then they offending their husband and acting brand new when their husband get mad at them. That's exactly what I said. I look at it 40 times.
Right. Okay. Yeah. By his words. That's what he said. That's it. Judah, all the men you've been around for these years, ask yourself spiritually, why are you keep on coming up on the radar like this? Why is it? Why do you seem like you're moving outside on your own? You told before, you feel like you don't have no place here. Judah, that's a damn lie. Remember, this is me and you talking now. That's what Shiloh said. Remember that. Remember that. That's what Shiloh. Since I've been around, how many times have you had to apologize to me for disrespect? Think about it. We're going back from Orlando. How many times have you had to apologize for the same thing? And I had Damon twist your arm. You go back and forth. Hoshai had to speak to you. That's your problem, Judy. And you say yourself, I raised you up too quick. Your self-will. But again, in that Facebook world, that's your image. That's where you work from. And we find ourselves back in the same thing again. You know what your problem, Judy? You never want to humble underneath me. You think you're surpassed at this point. You don't need me. You got a Facebook world. Judah, I've opened my door to you for every Sabbath. I said, do the same thing. You've never taken me up until this week. With all the apologies, I've always kept my door open to you. Every time you needed help, I was there to help you. So let's say what? Let's just say what you did this video, you wasn't taking a shot. If you knew it was perceived like that, why you didn't pick up that phone and call me? Why you didn't come to my house? Bishop, man, I get a text message? What, like Paris Hilton? We text message each other? You call me in light of all the things that went over all the years? That's the response I get? Come on, Judah. Nobody's stupid, man. A spiritual man discerneth all things. That's when there's light dormant in you that nobody in the Facebook world sees it, you can't see it, but guess what? And I know you're smirking right now behind that because right now it's making you look bad to your audience out there.
Still trying to save face.
That's what you're thinking. You worry about your audience. But your brother who's been here from you came to Orlando to come and learn, what do? We at odds? We at odds? Do I got to spell out to you how much I've helped you, how much I've been there for you? After you apologize, I'm still in the cut with you? And that's when I get in the wrong turn? I open my door to you. Have you been at my foot, at my door to still sit up under me? No. You will not come back. You will not come back. And I've told you that time and time again. And this stuff's been going on since I've been in Orlando. I'm telling you that, brother, I love you. You're my brother, but you're running headlong and you're making a mistake. And that brother right there is following you and you don't see. He's a follower. He walked behind you up and down Passover like a dog behind you. You don't know what you do. You got a lot of influence on people, Judah. A lot of influence on people. Do the right thing. Because I know right now, you use those classes to vent. You take shots. And if you say that ain't the case, between you and God.
We stupid.
Now, I'm stupid. All of us, all the leadership, all the captains, same thing again. All the captains looked there and said, damn. Guess what? And if anyone, let me say this again, because I don't want to say that. Kabar said to me about that same blue waffle. He called me and said, you know what, Bishop, before you send that text, he said, Bishop, I don't think that's a good look. He called me. He said, Bishop, I got shit. I don't think that was a good look to put that up there. And I was half to say, here, Kabar. I said, I'll take it down. Because I really don't care about it. And when you send a message to me, I took it down. I don't have to go. Listen to me, I don't live in no Facebook world. That don't mean nothing to me. Blue waffle, no blue waffle, take it down. I was just defending a brother that was with us. And I'm like, this trick don't know when to shut the hell up. So if I have fault in that, sorry. But she got herpes and she didn't want, the man didn't want her. And that's the truth. And that's the truth. I would defend those here. So you should have put a video correcting her dumb behind. You correct about this leaven in the body. You're straighter than that.
I want to speak on something real quick. Because again, and this is for all of you that are new, up and coming in the truth, as well as those of you online. In matters of counsel, when brothers have disputations with each other, to make the counsel go in a different direction, they'll find a very minute point to isolate, so that way it takes away from the direction of what the entire counsel is about. So I'll give you a prime example. There's a discussion about fruit. One brother says, I said tomato. Another brother says, no, you didn't, brother. I said tomato. And then you forget what the hell the conversation was even about. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take this little disputation about, well, did you see it or did you not see it if the bishop had it posted? Again, like how I did with my shroud there 10 minutes ago, I'm going to take this conversation 10,000 feet up. Let's say, for argument's sake, Judah did not see Bishop Kanai posted the blue waffle, Deacon Abiel posted the blue waffle, I posted the blue waffle, Captain Amaziah posted. Let's pretend, for argument's sake, that Judah honestly did not see that when he did those two videos. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. The truth of the matter is, hours later, you did in fact text me, you texted Bishop Kanai, you texted Captain Amaziah with screenshots from all of us, and you approved it based upon that matter. Now that's the truth of the matter. But here's the question. If you came to a point where you ever did see it, which in fact you did, why, not out of love for your seniors, if you felt it was so gravely wrong, why did you not have a conversation with your seniors to say, you know what, my apologies, I put these videos out there, and I realize now it's putting people at odds between the leadership or myself. If you didn't see the videos, because you did tell people, you know what, I'm going to get kicked out of the body for doing this. Now my thing is, when I watched the videos and what you did say...
Hold on. No, I didn't say I'm going to get kicked out of the body for doing this. I said because the bishop is offended, every time he gets offended, there's some kind of judgment that comes down. And I haven't gotten a call from anybody that said he was offended. I got a call from Captain Hoshiah, Captain Kabash, that you were offended and that you was pissed. So I said, here you go.
Well, here you go. If you got a call that I was offended, and taking out the blue waffle wasn't a big deal to me, because I could kill us. But if you got that call and you feel like that, why you didn't call me? Why you didn't reach out? Okay, Bishop is in his feelings right now. He's offended. You don't love me?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you should have been at my door, knocking my door, Bishop. And then I spoke to Hoshai. Man, it ain't like that. You're too prideful, Judith. I'm answering for you. You're too prideful. That's your problem. You're too prideful. If you really felt that, damn, again, this is coming up again. It look like I'm taking jabs at him. Man, you know what? The bishop's offended. Let me go to his house. Let me call him right now. Let me speak to Bishop, man. What's up? I've been trying to reach you. What's going on with you? Man, it ain't like that. I need to talk to you about this. It ain't like nothing. Nothing. That's why I say it's BS. Your pride won't let you. Just like your pride won't let you. For like I said before, every Friday night, June and my family, we always brought the Sabbath together. Every Friday. Your pride will not allow you, and I offered my door to you. I still, after the way you've treated me in the last few years, I still offer my door, and you still give me a middle finger every so often when you're ready to. I offer my door, even to this week you hit me up. I said, sure, Judah, my door's open. I do the same thing I do every Sabbath. You're more than welcome, you and your family. After that blue waffle, I don't hold on to stuff like that. But you could not stomach yourself to do it. So it's nothing new. That's when you got to look in yourself, Judah. You have to look at yourself and say, why am I like this? Why did we go back? I'm asking, what have I done to you? What have I done to you to garner that? What have I done to you that at least, even if you didn't do that, you didn't pick up the phone to make sure I understood that it wasn't like that?
Can I ask the question?
Yeah, sure, there's a question.
I was thinking the same thing about you when I got the call that you was offended. Well, why didn't he call me and tell me he was offended? The scriptures say, go to your brother. Nobody called me.
Let's be the peacemakers and inherit the kingdom of heaven. But guess what, Judah? Okay, I didn't do it. Shame on me. Why didn't you do it?
Shame on me. I apologize.
Watch this. It's been so many times, and the reason why I didn't come to you because you ain't changing. You keep on doing the same thing over and over again. It's the same thing. It's the same disrespect that Hoshai was warning you about or telling you back in 2014. You just keep on doing the same thing. Your problem is that you want to be in charge. You don't like to be told. You play the role, but you don't like it. Right up until I tell you something. You don't like it. And I know you're offended by the things I told Mosh, but I never told Mosh to hide anything. Everything I said was the truth. Everything. But I still opened the door. When you made right with me, what did I do? I help you out. I told you before how it went down. You know what happened. All the t-shirts I could have took. Now let him eat. You're the first person ever in IUIC to ever get a paycheck working for the church. And you deserved it. Not like you got no free. You left your job. You deserved it. The first person. I put you back. You said, Bishop, I need some help. Go ahead, drive the truck. You can make the money. You turn around and tell Ryan, yeah, the bishop need me. You're a prideful dude. You're a prideful. Unless Ryan is lying now. He's on. Tell right now.
The way you put that in context is if I'm like, yeah, you need me. Like
that's what Ryan said.
Yeah,
Ryan
that's
was
a lie.
okay,
So
Ryan is lying. Stop. I'm not finished. Ryan is lying. All those t-shirts for the water thing. Give it to you. I could have took. Nah, let him eat. I try to help you. Ma's trying to help you. I don't know why you think it don't feel well bucking against me. I don't see why you would do it. But you want to keep this image before your Facebook family, your fans. But the one who's been here to cut for you, you show me a wrong turn. Name something I've done to you. Deserve that. Name one thing I've done to you. Other than try to guide you, which you don't want to be guided. And that's the reason you got a problem with me, because you don't want to be guided. And none of you out here would never know this. We wouldn't be having this conversation if I was to get back to this Facebook foolishness. There's a lot more I can say about it, but I'll leave it be. I'll leave it be on that.
I want to say this again. So I'm going off of Judah's words, and I'm assuming for argument's sake that you're right. You put up your 2 videos, and you didn't see the fact that the bishop had the post, the deacon had the post, I had the post. But the truth of the matter is, at some point, you did see that we had the post. What I'm saying to you is, you being a brother that's been around with enough knowledge and experience of right and wrong, you should have been able to look at that situation and seeing that we put it up and say, okay, well, in the videos I just put up hours ago, I specifically said in the videos, don't do what these other people are doing, no matter how high up they are. So the minute that you saw...
Those are words you use?
Yes, he said no matter...
Play the video.
Yeah, please.
Play the video.
No matter how high they are.
Play the video.
This is ridiculous. And again, this goes, wisdom reigneth down skill to men of understanding. If you saw that the bishop, the deacon, the captain put it up, if you had love for brothers that were in authority, what you would have done is say, you know what, maybe it may not be best that I go about approaching it this way with the videos. Because when I put the video out, even if you didn't see it, Judah, even if you didn't see our post, everybody else that's following behind you, they did see the post. And so that's creating a division between yourself and the senior leaders that they're looking at that posted it in conjunction with what you said. The minute that you saw that your elders put that up, that's when you should have kicked in spiritually and said, damn, this thing can go left. Even if I didn't mean it like this, it can have the appearance of it. Therefore, I'm going to totally recant the statement. And that's what happened. I'm sorry, Bishop.
Kabash called me and spoke to me about it prior to Judah. And said to me, and I told you, Kabash, I said my piece, and I'll leave it at that, Bishop. Just give you a heads up how I see it. Let me make the decision. And what I did after that, you know what I did? I picked the phone and called Nathaniel. I said, let me make sure, because I don't want to be so self-absorbed that I think is right. He said, he just pull up a blue waffle. That was it. No words. I don't go back and forth on Facebook with people. Nobody say, but you do. I saw your videos of you going back and forth. The same thing you try to pull, you're the one guilty of it. You're doing the same thing. It's hypocrisy. Don't follow men like that. You're the man you were talking about yourself. Of you going back and forth with ISUPK. You was part of a rap video going back and forth. But I pull a blue waffle with no words, and it's some great evil and leaven. Man, listen. Miss me. Those cutting words. Y'all fall for that stuff. You got good qualities, Judah, about you, but the good qualities are being overshadowed by your bad qualities. Bad qualities. And I told you, Mark's going with you, Mark's going to give you a turn. And both of you can practice to say that's going to happen, you're going to malfunction. You're going to malfunction. Now, either you can listen to me or try it your way and see how it works out.
You would have thought you getting your rank taken, that you would have
shut up.
When you sat down and shut up, just been humble, worked on yourself.
So I'm sorry, I'm cut you off again. The reason why he don't do that is because he got to keep a persona on Facebook. It's attached to his business. So you got to keep his persona going. I didn't say that. That's what you told Captain. You got to keep that persona going. That's why you can't keep quiet.
Hey, I want to read something. Now, this a message sent to me by a brother, and you never gave the brother name and play. But when you said Captain Kabosh's name, that made me call Captain Kabosh. Because that's who I haven't, I didn't know that Captain Kabosh spoke to you. But a brother sent me this message. Please give me, Shalom, Captain Most High Christ bless. Now, I ain't gonna call the brother name out because he didn't want to be brought up in it. It say, please give me a call. Judah man called me last night and told me it wasn't a good look to have the blue waffle stuff up. And I agreed and took it down. Deacon Abiel called me not long after, and I told him also that I found it awkward for him to tell me to put the stuff up. And I agreed. Deacon Abiel called me not long after, and I told him also that I found it awkward for him to tell me to put the stuff up in the first place, although I did anyway. You happen to be the first person to call me about it that I told that I wasn't going to put anything up about. Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to see about her. Until Deacon spoke to me too. Well, Judah man calls me back not long ago, hoping not to be kicked out the body for speaking against the Blue Waffle movement because it's being taken as a direct shot at the shot against the bishop. Now I'm in this awkward position again to where if I'm called because of this whole matter, he wants me to be willing to tell the truth about Deacon Abiel telling me to make a post about Sister Blue Waffle on his behalf. Well, was it? I can't see y'all. I suppose on his behalf, I suppose. The truth is the truth. I don't expect leadership to be perfect, but I don't want to be in the midst of disquieting friends, nor bringing shame to the leadership I respect and honor in building our nation. So I counseled the brother, and I told the brother, I said, why you feel like you're going to get kicked out? I was like, they put up, and I talked to you about it. I said, they put up a waffle. I said, if it was any issue, they took it down. Now, when I spoke to you, Judah, I ain't know that them 2 videos was up. I was just going by the text message that was sent to the bishop. But when they post the video on the captain's page, I'm like, oh, hell no. Now, you remember I talked to you about the way things be perceived. And I told you, I said, you got to be wise as a serpent and humble as a dove. First of all, as you being demoted from a captain, I told you, leadership wants you to be quiet and not do nothing. You told me you couldn't do that. You said because you don't want to make it seem like, with your business, you just making posts about selling stuff. I said, I understand. I said, bro, look, we know that you're a spiritual man. I said, you got to find ways to put the word out. You can preach stuff, exhortation, and all that stuff right there. But like when you make posts like that, and like what the leadership saying, we perceived it as, even if it ain't true, it's perceived that it was a direct shot at the bishop. You know what I'm saying? Even if it ain't true. And I told you got to be careful about the way things perceived. Because that's how everybody sitting up here too. Everybody sitting back looking at it like, and not only a direct shot at the bishop, I'm looking at it like, okay, Deacon Abiel, Captain Uzziah, almost all the captains had the blue waffle up. Everybody had the blue waffle up. And then next thing you know, then you got Mosh back there. He quotes scripture in the background, saying, oh yeah, whoever doing that, they wicked. The whole congregation just was called wicked. Everybody looking on the outside saying that, okay, this going on, the leadership doing it. It's like it's calling the whole congregation wicked. Read Proverbs 18, verse 5 real quick.
And I'm sorry, Cap, because if, again, and I know we're not the only ones that watched the video, Judah and Mosh stood by the statement. They said no matter who put it up. So to say that they would not have made that statement if they had knowledge that the bishop or you or me had put it is contradictory. But because the video says no matter who does this, I'm against this.
Captain.
But it's falling off.
I'm not going for
he ain't off the hook. His ass
Hey,
ain't off
listen
the
to
hook.
this. I talked to Captain Kapash. He said Judah acknowledged that it was, you know what I'm saying, going in leadership. Judah acknowledged that. That's what Kapash told me. Kapash said he talked to you. He said he had to put it in such a way to make you sit up there and say that, yeah, I was wrong. I shouldn't have put it up there. That's what Kapash said. You know what I'm saying, when you made them posts. You know what I'm saying? He said you acknowledged that it was going in leadership, you know what I'm saying, for what they was doing. When I talked to you, you told me that, look, I was putting it out there for all Israel because to tell them to remove the leaven out, and it wasn't no shot at the bishop, but that's what it was perceived as. And from this message that this brother set up here, I ain't going to say his name, he told me that you knew that it was perceived as a direct shot at the bishop. Kabash knew, he said, he told you that it's perceived as a direct shot at the bishop. As a spiritual man, you should have picked up the phone and called the bishop like, hey, look, this right here, it ain't a shot at you. You know what I'm saying? To get it out to the point where now we up here in the middle of the class right now and this stuff going on in front of the world, you trying to, you know what I'm saying, defend your name and defend your honor. I want to read Proverbs 18, verse 5. Now, I'm going to tell you this. I would have never said nothing in the first place. You remember I told you about the scripture in Ecclesiastes 20, verse 1. It's rebuke that's not come, meaning it ain't seasonable. I told you that on the phone. I wouldn't even did it. I would have waited. I wouldn't even said nothing at all. Because already, if you think that everything you do, the bishop perceiving that you taking a shot at him, then you know to be quiet right now. Just don't do nothing. And then you ask me, you say, what you think, Captain? I should just be quiet. I said, yeah, if I was you, I wouldn't do nothing right now. And the reason why I said that so you can gain your brother, you know what I'm saying? Win the bishop back. I spoke to you plenty of times. I said, look, fix the relationship with bishop. Fix the relationship with bishop. Now, dealing with, get Blue Waffle, get Proverbs 18, verse 5, because I ain't see nothing wrong with it. I ain't seen nothing wrong with it. It wasn't nothing but a waffle, you know.
Listen, that's that old Southern Baptist feel good. Oh, we shouldn't be like this. Our forefathers wasn't like that, Judah. Now, I know what you may have thought. Maybe your understanding was skewed on those scriptures that you pulled concerning that. But there was absolutely nothing wrong with that. Yes, I did speak to Elkanah. Man needed to defend his name, especially look at the fruits of it. She has our mothers, posted up like they some daggone.
Got my wife is Satan.
Right. And this is who you would have seen.
Listen to me.
It's still confirmed. It's still.
Hold on. We'll sit up here and talk about Christianity like calling pastors names. Yeah. Other camps. Y'all must be sipping the syrup. And all of a sudden now, don't do that, brothers. Let's not do that. I'm telling you, Judah, I'm not sipping the syrup, bro. I know what you was doing. I know what your intentions were. What you try to do is you be slick about it. Okay, here's my out. I'm going to put this out here like this. You know what? I'll be able to back out because, no, I didn't see nothing.
No lick back.
No lick back. Same thing with, I wasn't talking about Mama Poria. This is what I said. This is how I worded it. Judah, you slick, bro. I'm up on you, man. I'm not dumb. I'm not going to sit here and play this game with you. Like I said, you put yourself in this situation because you don't know when to be quiet. You had your rank taken. It was time to shut up and be humble. Fade to black.
But you couldn't do that. All the wisdom that you're supposed to have, and you didn't know, you know what? Let me fall back and chill out for a while.
Let me reestablish my relationship with my friend, my brother, my bishop. Let me get close to him again. You start off like that, and then whatever happened, you just faded back away. You and Marsh come around, studying every day in my house. We looked like we was on the road to it. But whatever happened, it malfunctioned. I don't know what I did because my door's still open. It never closed. Just don't want to follow. You want to be in the lead.
Hey, I want to read Proverbs 18, verse 5 real quick. Just dealing with the blue waffle situation. You know what I'm saying?
The chick have herpes. The brother didn't want to marry her because she had herpes. Gina Blue, I'm talking to you. That's no lie. The man, he didn't want it, so what? He got to take it now. He's a whoremother because he didn't want it. My wife got on red. She's a priestess or what are you talking about? That chick crazy, and you gonna defend that? You crazy defender? Gospel of this congregation, damn it. The hell with her. Tell her repent. Tell her.
This the purpose.
I'm trying to go hard for Elkanah. I put a blue waffle in the back.
Proverbs 18 and 5. Read.
Proverbs chapter 18, verse 5. It is not good to accept the person of the wicked, to overthrow the righteous in judgment.
So just like when Blue Waffle sat up there, and just like when Blue Waffle, y'all been seeing what she been doing online, right? Repeatedly, video after video after video after video. And this brother at Passover, all happy, he posted a pic with him and his wife. Blue Waffle is, of course, she's scanning everybody's Facebook page, trying to find something. So she take it and she tried to turn this into a brother. This sister wicked as hell. Tried to make him seem as he a whoremonger. She started to post different screenshots of conversations they had, left out all her conversations. This sister wicked as hell. Everything she said has been left out, except it was something good that she said. You know what I'm saying? Tried to make it like they were so in love or whatever was going on. Anyway, Brother LK, Soldier LK, now he make a response to it. You know what I'm saying? Now, the first response, I don't think it was bad. You know what I'm saying? He said, look, sis, just tell everybody the real reason why I stopped proving you. I found the righteous sister that I love, and this is my wife. We married, such. I said there, I said, sis, this what happened when you reach too far with short arms. I said, you trying to sow discord between a husband and wife. And that's what made me sit up there and respond to it. Next thing you know,
go ahead.
The blue waffles go up. I don't see nothing wrong with it. The sister wicked as hell. She need to learn how to shut the hell up. It say it is not good to accept the person of the wicked. I don't give a damn how much that her damn feelings get hurt. I don't care. I'm glad her feelings hurt. I hope she cry at the damn house after that. I hope she want to repent. Some people need to feel ashamed for the stuff that they doing. She needs to feel ashamed. And all he did, he just posted a damn blue waffle. That was it. And look, I don't care how the sister felt or whatever behind it. It is what it is. But the point is, we don't need to sit up there and side with them. Oh, no, this wicked what we doing. We just post a damn waffle.
You making a video to correct Israel. Get the leaven out your spirit. Like within IUIC, get the leaven out your spirit. Just the Passover. And it's just this bear false witness. Bear false witness. And I mean, she don't stop doing it. But you find that. But you know who buying into that stuff? A lot of you sisters. A lot of you sisters buying that. Yes, you right and whatever. Y'all better stop following that foolishness.
And y'all
go for that Christian spirit.
Read the whole chapter of Matthew 23. Is Christ wicked? Christ said, you generations of serpents and vipers. He said, you hypocrites. Christ said every day. Remember Isaiah? Isaiah called the pastor dumb dogs. He said all type of names. So saying blue waffle, it ain't wicked.
Shot, this is the thing. And this is what the real issue is, what we're not saying. Judah understands that. He sees that. He knows that there ain't nothing wrong with that. But this was the opportune time for you again to get a lick back at the bishop. Bishop posts the blue waffle. Now all of a sudden, this is the opportune time. I got him. Now I can check him on this. And I'm going to do it openly.
And because last year he wanted to make it about me peeing on a Christmas tree. Meanwhile, we ain't kept burning the white images of Christ. People stepping on it. I'm acting like I'm pissing on the tree. And everybody's picking Steve behind it. And it's a problem. That's the big issue. That's what you spend your time on Facebook doing. If I'm doing it, so what? So what? And like Kabash came to me and said his piece and then left it alone. But even when you said to me, Judah, I took it anyway, because to be honest with you, it is kill us by the blue waffle.
I want to rewind you back, if I may, real quick, since I'm the one standing up on this thing. I want to rewind you back before when we had Purple Rain video, and we was all there, and we wasn't into no, we had nothing between us, and you wanted to do a pissing scene on something. And remember, I said, take me off the song if we're gonna do that. So it ain't like I'm like.
Well, okay, but you weren't the only one. Stop. But you weren't the only. But listen, here's the point. I didn't like it either. Those know me. I'm raw. Know me. I didn't like it either. It wasn't because of you only. They didn't want it either. But here's the point. You still go back and forth. Acknowledge that you go. The same thing you was trying to talk about people are doing, you do it yourself. Is that not true? Here you go. Now you're silent.
What are you talking about?
And you go back and forth with ISPK. I can show you videos of you rendering evil for evil, going back and forth with them.
Which one? Purple Rain video.
No, that video and you driving around talking about these brothers. Judith, the same thing you're trying to talk about people have living in them, you're doing. You can't find no video on Facebook with me going back and forth talking about. I don't do that, but there's videos of you doing it.
Okay.
All right, so that's the point. So instead of, like Deacon said, you got the motive. How about you just shut up, hold your place, and stop trying to be this image on Facebook? You're marketing yourself. That's all you're doing. But again, amongst all the captains who once were your peers, all the deacons, all the bishops, we don't hate you, but we know the side that the rest of them out there don't know. We know that side of you. And that's all you're concerned with. Concerned with them not seeing it. So we all sit back saying, ain't this some hypocrisy over here? That dude was in the Purple Rain video. He was up there talking about ice going back and forth, and he talking about a blue waffle. Jude, you got something in your spirit, and I pray if you, I don't know if you see it or whatever, you got something in your spirit against me, and you don't see it, and you look for a reason to find argument. You're an angler. You angle yourself, and you're good at it. You're good at it, but the people ain't stupid either. All right, Deacon, I've said my piece. What is it?
Anybody got anything else to say? Okay. Like I said, Jude, I'm not buying it. Let's just say that's the case. You should have just kept your mouth shut. You had opportune time to fix all this. The videos are still up. They still up. So if there was any type of confusion, you could have deleted the video, picked up the phone. Hey, Bishop, I don't know what's going on. I wasn't speaking about you. But that isn't what it was, Judah. It was more than that, and you know that. And though you may have tried to convince everybody here that's not what it was, that's exactly what it was.
That means Hoshea, who's your friend, got something against you. He's moving into it. I got something against you. We just woke up and said we're going to have to find a way to embarrass you and make him feel bad. That's not the case, man. You just got to start getting real with yourself and stop lying. Stop being delusional. Be honest. If you really want to fix it, that's the first step of doing it. And you've never done it. I'll tell you before I have a conversation with you, I'm telling you about yourself. I'm telling you exactly what it is. And you sit there quietly, and I know in your mind you know what I'm saying is right, but you won't acknowledge it. You won't acknowledge it because you're too prideful. That's your problem. Too prideful. And you're unthankful.
And a lot of you sisters that are online, that are watching this camera right now, you're helping your brothers stay in the midst of folly. Because you're the main one blowing smoke up his ass every single day on Facebook, telling him how he's a damn king. Listen to what I'm saying online. Judah is not a captain. Stop going on Facebook saying Captain Judah. Stop going online saying Officer Masharathia. These men are not in positions of leadership here. Many of you online, you're the very reason why these two brothers can't get past it, because you're so busy inflating their damn ego, you're enabling their issue. Stop doing that. When next time you see Judah Mack online, you need to say, Judah, are you right with the leadership? Are you fixing the issue that you're dealing with? Stop making this man's head big because you're the damn problem. Stop riding this man's rod. The man has a wife.
Anybody else got anything? Judah, same judgment. You're suspended. You can learn online. Keep in contact with Captain Uzziah. Is there anybody else that sees anything different amongst leadership? Azaniah? You understand? Anybody else? Jeremiah? One thing that we're not going to allow, not one soul is going to come in here and disrupt anything. Anybody show any disrespect towards leadership, you're going to be dealt with. And please don't try to play this, it's unjustly crap. We're not buying it anymore. I'm not sipping the sauce. Yeah, maybe after the first, maybe one time, second time. But here we are again. Judah, fix yourself. Anybody got anything else?
Hey, look, I want to read a comment that the devil left online just to show you that, and you know you my brother, you know what I'm saying? You know I love you, bro. And you know what I'm saying? That's why I said my piece. You know what I'm saying? Because the scriptures say, you know what I'm saying, if you don't rebuke your brother, you know what I'm saying, you don't love him. And that's why I called you on the phone, you know what I'm saying? That's why I constantly counsel. I told you, you know what I'm saying, try your best to make it right with Bishop. This a dude online put Judah. Take your manhood and leave, son. Start your own faith. Satan already waiting. This Satan right here waiting online. No one has the right to silence another man. Every man is just a man. Take your followers with you. They are obviously threatened by your presence. Leave your vids posted, bruh. Followers will find you. Time to step your game up and become a leader. They have openly and publicly rebuked you. There goes Satan already waiting at the door. There goes Satan right there waiting at the door. That's crazy as hell.
So let's see what you're gonna do.
That's like that old Reebok shoe, that pump. You know that pump action? You used to pump your shoes up with before you go hoop. Trying to pump your head up. But we tell y'all all the time, especially around this time of the year, this is what Satan like to move. I want to read something real quick. This is Acts 5. Just so y'all can see this is spiritual. Acts the 5th chapter. Start at verse 20. No. Start at 37. No, it started at 36.
Acts chapter 5, verse 36.
Come on.
For before these days rose up Thaddeus, boasting himself to be somebody.
Notice, this is how it starts. People begin to boost themselves up. Some of y'all attribute to that, help that out. Boasting himself up to be somebody, right? Read.
To whom a number of men, about 400, joined themselves.
About 400 men, brothers, joined themselves to this brother who thought he was doing something. Now he was making some noise. Read.
Who was slain.
Who was what?
Who was slain.
Come on.
And all, as many as obeyed him, were scattered and brought to none.
And everybody that obeyed him was scattered, dispersed. We've seen that happen within the body. Somebody will leave, and it's always around this time. It's when the spirit like to come through. And then what do? They go out thinking they're going to do this, that, and the third. And the Lord scatters them. All of a sudden, they scatterbrain. They don't know if they're coming or going. They out in the world. Destroyed. Read on.
After this man rose up Judas.
After this man rose up Judas. How befitting. Here comes Judas. Read.
Of Galilee.
Come on.
In the days of the taxing.
When?
And in the days of the taxing.
Damn, that's around this time. In the days of the taxing, around Passover. Why is it every year? We all say this, we joke about it, but it's always the same thing. In the days of the taxing, around Passover time, here comes this spirit trying to draw people after themselves. Here comes the spirit disrupting things. Don't tell the bishop. Keep this from him. Read.
And drew away much people after him.
Read.
He also perished. And all, even as many as obeyed him, were dispersed.
Be mindful. Like I said, where there's smoke, there's fire, Judah. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Like I said, you looking at it like, not the same me, brother, you ain't fooling nobody no more. Fix yourself. If you truly love the Lord like you say you do, fix yourself. Shut up and get in line and follow the protocol. That's it. Anybody got anything else?
You know, maybe it's just us, Deacon, and me, you, Bishop, Captain O'Shea, that see it from one point of view that's different from everybody else. So I want the other two brothers at the table here with us that haven't spoken on it. What are your thoughts on the matter? Captain Jeremiah, you're first.
My thoughts on the matter was I saw the Blue Waffle post and I correlated it with the video myself actually, and then when it came on the captains of IUIC actual channel and they called it, then I knew I was in the same spirit as everybody else, really. So from then on, after I saw it already at the captain's video, at the captain's IUIC, then it started speeding up, and then I talked to you, Captain Zai, about it.
All sides or not?
I myself didn't see any of the videos, but you know, when you go back and forth and hear the witnesses and stuff like that, you guys really made some crucial mistakes that you could have avoided easily if you really saw yourself in the spirit. The biggest thing that bothers me is you're willing to jump in front of bullets that aren't worth it. Like, if you saw something wrong with the blue waffle, cool, but was it worth causing all of this storm, knowing that, you know, that was going to happen? For me, if I saw it, I might have not liked it like Captain Kabosh did it, but I wouldn't have made it a big deal because it wasn't important enough to me. So, yeah, I saw wrong in all the moves that was made in this.
Listen, someone spoke to me, and I agreed. You know what? Let's not give this thought any more attention. Let's not give it no more attention. And in that, I agree to it. But don't sit up here and tell me, oh, because you posted a picture or because you say blue waffle, there's an issue. Again, that's Satan's way trying to weave his way in, and you bit. Judah, congratulations.
So I want to make it known to all of you again that are online that go into situations blindly, not knowing what things look like behind the scenes. All the brothers that are on this table that are actually in Austin, physically present with Judah, we're all saying the same thing. Now, we know that there's going to be some of you, like the situation Judah finds himself in. I don't know how many of y'all noticed when the two witnesses established that Masharathia lied, Judah never said anything towards Masharathia, even though the scriptures, the word of God says, the matter's established when you have two witnesses. What Judah does in his friendship with Maj says, well, I know the scriptures establish it, but I have such a close friend tie, I still won't call a man wicked. When you place your friendship over what the scripture says, that's what makes you wicked too. That's evil, Judah. The brother looks up to you in high esteem, you got to tell the man, you're wicked. I wasn't there, Masharathia, but the scripture says, in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, let every matter be established. On the basis of that, you're wicked. But it won't happen because of the fact that you and Mosh got this damn Batman and Robin thing going on, and you will push the scriptures to the side to do the whole friend thing. And for those of you that are online that have that same spirit, you're going to put the scriptures aside so that way, oh, don't let me burn this bridge here. Let me have my friendship there. Should Judah decide to leave IUIC, there's going to be many of you that are going to try to follow behind him, message him, do this or do that. Be my guest. Go ahead first and do what you do. Go ahead and do it quickly so that way we can go back to rebuilding IUIC. We've been spending too much damn time on this thing. But those of you guys that love riding Judah's rod so much that the scriptures go to the side, get the hell out now. Don't try to infiltrate. Don't try to stick around and try to make something out of nothing when ain't nothing there so that way you can feel justified when you leave the body. Get the hell out now. If you're not serious about the 144,000 being raised up, get the hell out. Because we got to build. We didn't see this team too many times over, and we're about business here.
We don't care about numbers. I hope that's one thing that they think, oh, they care about numbers. We don't care about numbers. We want the faithful here that's going to do right. It is what it is. Like I said, it's always the same attributes, the same symptoms. And just like you said, it'll be those, like Masharathia was trying to target, that are disgruntled. You better check your spirit when one of these people come to you. Check your spirit when somebody's in your ear. What's the real issue, and have you really dealt with it? Did you deal with that person? All right, I have nothing more to say concerning this. Judah, you're dismissed. Where's Masharathia at? Okay.
The scripture says in Sirach 11:7, blame not before thou hast examined the truth. Understand first and then rebuke. And what we saw in these videos was as descriptive as I could bring it to you so the truth can be examined. When we look at the judgment that took place with Judah and Mosh, it was all wrong. I mean, it's clear. You could just see it in the videos. Had their side been able to have been investigated, maybe none of this would have happened. But now let me put things into perspective for you. After we bring all this stuff to Nathaniel, myself, Judah, and Masharathia, this is how he handles it.
Brothers, your leaders, when you counsel somebody, you got to record it. Always record every conversation, just in case. I'm telling you, he's going to come back bite you.
Well, I told Judah, I spoke to him today, I said, although it may not be that or have been that for that reason, since it came out in council, that's what everyone believes. So I told Judah, I said, the scriptures say Psalms, I had him read Psalms 4:4, said that be still means be quiet. So it says commune upon your own bed. That means within yourself. I said, Judah, you're on Facebook making going back and forth with Uzziah. You're doing little short videos. You're not being still. What you're doing is adding more ammunition to what the council, whatever it said, against you. I said, be still. Learn to be still. Which goes back to Zamira. When she made those statements, which was not provable, it made her look bad. You understand what I'm saying? Unless I ran it, I'll not stand up and say, this is what he did. There's no evidence. Zamira stayed quiet. Boom, all praises. She's back. I said, Judah, that's my advice to you and to Mosh. I said, whatever comes, I said, yeah, that's going to be Sirach too. I said, because remember when the accusations came against Shakya, there was no evidence at all. Abiel got shitted on behind all that. I said, sometimes you got to sit back and let the Spirit of God work. I said, now you know that if anybody's on evil, the Most High is going to step in. I said, now it could just be that. I said, now if what you're saying is right, that he's being the devil in Austin, then that's going to be proven later on. I said, but as of right now, I said, what you're saying, Judah, and what Marsh is saying can be taken, it will be taken by everyone as you're just saying that because judgment came on y'all. I said, I told both, I need to hear from someone non-objective who had no issues with Bishop tonight. So even like with the things you're saying, Bez, you and him made peace. It was so it's done. You understand? So I'll do this. I'm definitely going to to my hip. I'm going to hold all that you said to my hip. It's going to go nowhere. Make sure if this is true, I'm saying if, I always got to stay in the middle. If this is true, if it happens again with another brother, make sure they don't blow up. Make sure they call me while things is getting hot and let me know. Don't wait till after it explodes. I'm going to tell you what I told those guys. It's still iffy. The Most High would have to make it manifest. Like now that I'm hearing it, I'll keep an eye out for it, definitely. But there's no way I could say anything about it because it seems tainted. Because it's people that had issues with Kanai. The Most High called us into this truth to do the work. But guess what? Remember what Sirach 2 says about gold is tried in the furnace of adversity. I said many times we expect the adversity to just come from the outside, like with blue waffles, all that shit. That's expected. We are on guard with that. But what our God is always lowered for is within the body. That's when the Most High is really trying our spirits and really building our characters is within the body. That's when oppositions come. We have hatred one for another. We got to rectify. I said, we got to see this spiritually. That's the Most High still building each of us, our character. You know, I said, look at it like that, and things will be all right. And Mosh, I said, you make a mistake for leaving. I said, you're that wounded gazelle who got mauled by a lion. Your guts is partially out. You're running down the street alone, and the lion's just chasing you, which ministers Satan is like a roaring lion seeking whom he may devour. I said, so he told me, he said, Kanai's bullying him. And I said, well, Mosh, I said, remember, for a year, I told Kanai not to move over a year. For like 2 years, no, you can't move, don't move. I said, I didn't do it to bully you. I knew if he went out there, he was not spiritually prepared, he'll vanish away. He'll be back in the world, in clubs, throwing dollars to holes on the thing. I said that not to bully him, because I knew he wasn't ready. I said, Mosh, you're not ready. And Mosh said, I know, I'm not ready. I said, do me a favor. I said, humble down. I said, pray to the Lord, and the Most High will make things manifest. I said, I told Azariah the same thing about Shakya. He didn't listen to me. He blew up to Shakya with no proof, and it made him look bad. He got put out. I said, that's all I can say to you, brothers. But I am keeping an eye out for Bez. I am looking.
As you hear from the audio, he tells us to fall back, be patient, wait. Tells me that what I'm telling him is not going to go nowhere. I listen, and everybody falls back, and they're patient, waiting for him to do what he said he was going to do. Now, what you need to understand is that according to 1 Timothy 5:20, where the scripture says, of them that sin rebuke before all. Verse 19 says, at the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses shall a matter be established. That's all it takes. And if the witnesses are false, it'll come out. We all expected some kind of council to take place with the deacons, Bishop himself, to where all this stuff would have been dealt with accordingly. But that never happened. Instead, in waiting for Nathaniel to even touch on this stuff, and as soon as Judah and Maserati decided not to come back, he goes on a campaign. I mean, you saw it when he taught that class, Ratchet Negroes.
I think the one, we just had one council here, public, with the brother that was in New York. And the other one was in Texas. The other one was in Texas. The major, remember they did a public thing with that brother Raps. And he was put out for lying, emulation, hatred, and jealousy.
Yes.
Nobody was ever put out from IUIC unjustly.
Right.
There was always something. Were you going against Bishop Kanai? Yes. Were you speaking evil of him? Yes. Were you going against leadership? Yes. Were you trying to set up your own secret camp? Yes. So don't say, what did I do? I did nothing wrong. That's to get you ratchet ones, you ignoramus brothers and sisters who don't have a clue. I'm confused. What's wrong?
Yes, we saw it before with one of the deacons we kicked out.
Mark them which cause divisions.
Was Dathan, Korah, and On causing divisions?
Yes, sir.
Yes, go ahead.
Mark them which cause divisions and offenses contrary to the doctrine.
They were offending the leadership God had. You had men put out from here offending the leadership and trying to establish their own secret camp.
Offenses contrary to the doctrine.
When you go against leadership, you're causing division. That's what we're reading in Numbers 16. So that's the example we're going over today. You men that don't like order, you don't like the leadership telling you what to do, that's you too. Now this in Romans 16 is a higher level of wickedness. It says avoid them. And the ratchet ones on Facebook, I'm confused, like you need to die. Any of you sisters, I don't know who it is, so I'm just saying, you sisters that are against leadership, you need to die today if you can't repent. Because that's evil what you're doing. Leave them alone. Depart from their tents. Depart from their YouTube. Depart from their Facebook, their Tumblr, their social media. Depart from them. Go ahead.
And touch nothing of theirs.
The Bible says touch nothing. Am I going crazy? Are we reading English words? Touch nothing of theirs. The law is, thou shalt not revile the judges, nor curse the ruler of thy people. So when you go against leadership, you are reviling the judges. That is a sin if you didn't know it. All I did was murmur against Moses. Now all I did was murmur against Asaph and Bishop and Malachi. All I did was murmur. You are reviling the judges that the Lord has established thus far. Does everybody understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, if you can say that we had the women selling their behinds on the corner, we're secretly selling crack or something, then we're not the men of the Most High. But if you have no accusation against us, not one, then just accept it as we are. The Lord has established us. Whether you like it, accept it or not, the Lord has thus spoken. You can examine what other camp, I gotta do a poll. What camp is doing what God has ordained us to do?
Please,
what camp?
Bring them forth.
Despise law and order. Despise government. You have men and women that come in this truth, ratchet men and women who will not change and despise government. What you men and women don't understand, God is establishing government. That's why the ranking system is there. To establish something of some type of government before the Lord. And when the Lord returns, he's going to give each man their proper rank with their proper level of power. So that way nobody's going to speak against that man. You see how like right now y'all be speaking against some of the captains. You wait till that captain get power. You're going to shut the hell up on that day.
That's right.
Going to shrink your head to a walnut.
You understand? But as I said, I'm saying it again. You brothers that's over the camps, any brother or sister amongst you that's confused about why Judah Mac leave and acting sympathetic and talking, murmuring, let them go, man. Just tell them to go. Just tell them take their stuff and go. You understand? Because we ain't playing with this foolishness, man. You know, we ain't playing with none of yours. You understand?
He goes on a barrage of they left the truth, they left the body, they left IUIC. bringing out scriptures that because he left and they're doing their own thing, now it's like when these people went against Moses, so that everything now of theirs needs to be destroyed or is unholy. I saw that and I'm like, okay, he really going in. And I said to myself, he's not going to deal with this. The excuse is now, and looking back, he never planned to deal with it. He was just going to try to smooth everything over and brush it all under the rug. I wasn't sure about it up until I noticed that he started going in on me. And one thing I know about Nathaniel is that, and he's told me this in conversation, when he sees somebody's about to leave the truth and they're resourceful and they got things, skill sets, access to certain things, whatever it may be. He's told me in the past, like he did with this brother in Dallas who was wealthy and had a lot of resources. When he saw that brother was going to leave, I remember he told me on the phone, he's like, we need to get what we can out of him for the truth before he leaves, because he's not gonna endure. One thing I know from the street, like I said before, is you know how a person's gonna deal with you the way you see them deal with other people. Once he went on the campaign against Judah and Masharathia, because obviously their testimony was pretty damaging, he starts going after me. And what does he try to go for before he thinks I'm gonna leave or before I get put out or whatever reason? He's after stuff from Black Christ Matters, which I know he's covered it after that since it came out, because Captain Shem went to Judah and told him that he should turn it over to original royalty.
Brothers, your leaders, when you counsel somebody, you got to record it. Always record every conversation, just in case. I'm telling you, he's going to come by bite you.
Shalom.
Hey, shalom, Bishop. Most High Christ bless.
Hey, Most High Christ bless. What's going on, man?
Just wanted to talk to you about that text you just sent me. I know I replied with understood, but I don't really agree that there's known as a Judah Mac product, because he hasn't been involved in the business or been seen as part of the business for almost more than a year.
Well, you know, this is what happened. When Steph showed the video, and they said, everybody said, oh, that's Judah Mac. Because of the video, the campaign y'all did, she was the face man. You weren't the face, as in I wasn't the face, she was the face. And that's how it's known. So it'd be like money in the water, like putting a piece of turd in water. Although you may have taken the company, it's not known as a Bezaleel company, it's known as Judah Mac company.
Right, and since then I removed his face from all the advertisement. Nothing gets promoted with him on it, as far as I know.
Yeah, but that video you did with his face, boom, that's it. That's how it's known. But everybody has time to take it. Let's get him out. Let's work with you. No, we were like, nah, I doubt that part. Let's see. You know, so that's how it goes. You know, you can't do that. You know, and a little bit of the main thing there is we're all spread out. Like I would give the example of cutting down a tree. If you hit it in one spot, 1,000 times it will fall. If you hit it 1,000 different places, it's still standing. You just got an ugly tree. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like the cartoon department, like the brother in Washington, D.C., he was doing his own thing. Then we had North Carolina doing that. And I'm like, brothers, y'all are not going to really, you're not being successful because we're separated. I said, why? I said, y'all been in Israel 5-6 years. You have not understood the concept of unity yet. Because everybody, I went for my own thing. That's typical with blacks and Latinos. And this is why we get nowhere in society, nowhere. We cannot function properly as a unit. That has always been our problem to this day.
I'm sorry, Bishop. I thought we were talking about Judah Mac.
I changed the topic.
Yeah, is there an issue with the cartoon I did?
It's a nice cartoon, but we're not supporting anything as long as we think it belongs to Judah Mac. We're not supporting it. That's the only issue.
But I'm telling you that it's not supporting Judah Mac. It's my business.
You're telling me, but that's how we all see it. That is the thought in everyone's head.
All right. So how do I change that? And what is your?
My suggestion is work with Watch and Read.
That
would be excellent.
I'm talking about that's the cartoon. I'm talking about the Black Lives Matter is a business. It's a campaign business. So it's like the cartoon thing is not the core of what I do with that. You know what I'm saying? So
I understand it, but that right there was the concept about with the thing that Zeph showed was a cartoon of our forefathers, right?
Yes.
Leave them alone. Depart from their tents. Depart from their YouTube. Depart from their Facebook, their Tumblr, their social media. Depart from them. Go ahead.
And touch nothing of theirs.
The Bible says touch nothing. I'm not making, am I going crazy? Are we reading English words? Touch nothing of theirs. Touch nothing of theirs. Touch nothing of theirs.
That would be a good idea, like for opening for watching read that thing. It'd be nice.
Right, I understand, but I'm not the business and that stuff I'm doing. I'm not trying to involve it in the church stuff. The stuff I do for the church is separate. The stuff I do with business is separate. I'm not blending the two. I already did the business side when I did original royalty with the school. Cool, that's there, but this stuff is I keep it separate. You understand what I'm saying?
I don't get it.
Well, but nonetheless, I mean, we're talking about Judah Mack being the face of the brand, and I'm telling you, I removed him as the face of the brand a long time ago.
Yes, you're the only one that knows that.
No,
nobody knows that. Not in New York, nobody knows it. Headquarters does not know that. I didn't know it until you just said that.
But I told Zeph yesterday I was clear because he asked me, and I said, no, it's been more than a year.
Everybody says the same thing, Bez.
Right.
Is this Judah Mack? That's what everyone in New York that was looking at it said, is this Judah Mack? Because that's how everybody knows it. I spoke with Bishop Kanai this morning. He said he spoke to Azaniah. Azaniah said he doesn't deal with the Black Christ Matters. He said he was explaining something to Kanai about you brought it on or something like that.
When we split the businesses up, there was some money owed to me, and instead I took the Black Christ Matters brand for myself instead of dissolving it. Yeah, I'm listening.
Right, so you see my point is, it was done in secret, Bez. That's why even Kanai had to speak with Azaniah and find out.
It was done in secret.
Nobody knows this. That's a secret thing between you, Azaniah, and Judah. As soon as everybody knows, on the forefront, it's Judah Mack.
All right, but I mean, do you understand, Bishop? Like for the past, what was it, two Passovers and a few Black Wall Streets. Even when I had the Black Christ Matters merchandise, Judah was separate in the other room, another side of the room, had nothing to do with the black. So people, you know what I'm saying? It's been clear.
JudahMack.com. That's how everybody sees it. That's all. You know?
Okay, so
you have to be a huge champion to undo that. I wouldn't see with me if there's a piece of mud in my water.
But that,
I'm not going to drink it.
Right, but understand, Bishop, I you know, with all due respect, that would be me going against the principle that I have that I'm not trying to blend the business with the church at all. So for me to do a campaign saying that this has nothing to do with Judah Mack and this is a whole church issue that's been going on, that'll be me blending the two together, and that's what I don't want.
Man, this is the issue. You learn from IUIC, you want to be separate. Go ahead. Do your thing, Bez. I have nothing more to say on it.
I didn't say I want to be separate. What told you that? I didn't. Whoa.
You just said you don't want to blend
the business,
your business
right,
with the church. So I said, okay. We're talking about church stuff. I'm talking about church. I'm not dealing with like where he remarked, I don't deal with that. I can't do that.
I have nothing to do with that. I haven't been a part of that for over 2 years also.
No, I'm giving an example. I'm just giving an example of how people business stuff, with the church, we stay out of it. We're going to stay out of it. Right. Because it gets money, and it gets, a lot of times, it turns evil from what I'm seeing. You know. So I just step back and watch the Most High do it. They will see who remains standing and who falls. That's what I step back and say, okay. You know. So, if you want to promote that thing, go ahead, promote it. You know. I'm just saying it's going to appear as a Judah Mack thing. All I can give you is my advice and suggestion. That's it.
Okay. Okay, and what are the repercussions? You know, because there's a recourse for everything. It's not just a. So I'm just asking.
I have no idea. All I'm saying is that IUIC is not going to promote Black Christ Matters because it's perceived as a Judah Mac thing.
Right. When did I ask for IUIC to promote it?
You never did. You never did. You never did. I said, let me just say it. That way there's no misunderstanding.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
No problem, sir. All right. I just wanted to be clear. I just want to be clear on it because it was surprising text. So I just want to make sure everything's cool and just call you up about it.
Yeah. So let me get this right. So for the watchery, you're not going to do nothing for that.
There's a lot of things that that I know I'm needed for. I gotta get my house together and all that stuff. I've been running a business and the stuff I'm doing on my own. It's not easy. And when I do have time to do stuff, I get in where I fit in. I was able to help with the banners for Suriname. I was able to, do that quick video for Zeph and help y'all out while y'all was out there. And when I do have available time, I try to go on these Northern Kingdom trips if I can make it. To dedicate to something like that, I'll take on something that I can't complete. He texted me or I called him back while I was driving, or he called me while I was driving. I don't remember. But I know that in my car, I have a dash cam. So he calls me and starts asking me about the Black Christ Matters business, telling me that I need to denounce Judah publicly. And then he goes right into asking me to give over the characters that I had developed with another artist. That's my stuff. So it's like all of a sudden you say in classes that anything that's associated with Judah,
leave them alone. Depart from their tents. Depart from their YouTube. Depart from their Facebook, their Tumblr, their social media. Depart from them. Go ahead.
And touch nothing of theirs.
The Bible says touch nothing. I'm not making, am I going crazy? Are we reading English words? Touch nothing of theirs.
Is now unholy and not to be touched, but yet you want something from the business associated with him for yourself. That's covetousness and that's envy. I hear this and I'm like, no, I've already given you original royalty. I gave that up after council with Deacon Asaph years ago. I came up with original royalty. It was something I was trying to do myself after I showed it to Asaph, and he's just like, oh, we got to do this for the school. Then next thing you know, it's like, call Nathaniel, showing Nathaniel, and it's like, all right, Bez, when we gonna roll this out? And then I was like, all right, cool. I just rolled with it. Now I see that's the MO. Now he's after this, and I'm like, yo, this dude really trying to extort me out of this because he's the leader of the organization. So obviously, if I make him upset or disgruntled or uncomfortable, there's gonna be repercussions behind it, like always. Then a few days later, Captain Zeph calls me up, and Captain Zeph is telling me the same thing, and I'm like, bro, I spoke to Nathaniel already.
Always record every conversation, just in case. I'm telling you, he's going to come by bite you.
Well, I'm assuming you calling me because you spoke with him.
No, I'm talking to you because I'm talking to you. As a brother, I'm looking out for you. The order went out. So I told you to avoid any confusion in your business somewhere. Let people know that it's yours.
Right. I spoke to him the other day about it, and I told him that I'm keeping my business and the church stuff separate, right? For me to make an announcement like that, that's me bringing what's going on, a church issue, into my business. I can't change what people think or anything like that. They think whatever they want. If they ask, I'll tell them, but I'm not gonna go and make an announcement like that and directly involve my personal businesses into what's going on with the church. You get what I'm saying?
Like I said, take it or leave it.
Right.
I hear you, brother. All right, Dad. I'll talk to you now.
All right, no problem, brother. All right, shalom.
Most High Christ bless.
Most High Christ bless.
Always record every conversation, just in case. I'm telling you, he's going to come by bite you.
So I want you to check out how I'm being strong-armed. We're 2 weeks away from Tabernacles. Well, at least the days I have to get ready. And I'm already invested about $2,000, $2,000. Me and another family, they invested about $1,500. So here we are, knee deep in debt, buying equipment because we are planning to cook food for people at Tabernacles as part of an outdoor kitchen in Black Wall Street. Obviously, Nathaniel got wind of this, and he's asking me this in this text about nobody's business is separate from the church. That's a lie. If anyone's business is separate from the church, then why sell products within IUIC Black Wall Street? Why sell products the week of IUIC Passover? Why sell products during IUIC Feast of Tabernacles? So I see what's going on here. You didn't get what you wanted from the Black Christ Matters. I held back, and now these are the repercussions that I asked him about before. He sends Zephaniah to talk to me, and since I didn't comply, he sends me this text immediately after I get off the phone with Zephaniah. So I read your text. I just wanted to talk to you about it. So what would you like me to do exactly?
About what?
Because I know we spoke the other day. Zephaniah called me today. Did you speak to him after we spoke?
No.
Because he called me up, and then obviously he spoke to you because you text me and him at the same time.
Oh, he sent me a text today about that. He said he spoke to you, and he said that, so yeah, in terms of text, yeah. He said he spoke to you, and you said that you were keeping the business separate from the church, and that's when I responded to both of y'all at the same time. I said, that makes no sense. You know, so to keep business separate from the church means you do not sell at IUIC. That's separate. Creflo Dollar stuff is separate. TD Jakes is separate. ISUPK is separate. But to sell at IUIC events and say it's separate, it makes no sense.
Right.
That's like an oxymoron.
Right. When I mean separate, I pay the dues. You know, when I make money, I donate. You know, people support it. Outside of the events,
You donate to whom?
I send money after every event. After I pay back whatever I owe, I take the earnings and I send a portion back to either Austin or New York.
Not New York, because Joshua checked. No, you never sent to New York. So I know that's not true.
Well, my wife handles that, so I'm not sure if she sends it to the Austin camp or she sends it somewhere.
Okay, under what name?
It should be under either BEZ LLC or under House of Israel. Okay. Or in the past, it will be under Black Christ Matters, if we sold that at the event.
Okay.
So, Zeph was saying that I should make an announcement saying that Judah Mack is not a part of the Black Christ Matters business, and I explained to him that in doing so, I don't just sell to IUIC member. I sell to whoever shops. So that's people in Christianity, in the world, wherever. I would be making them aware of, like, what's this? And then now it's like I am a IUIC business. You understand what I'm saying? And making these people aware of who's this Judah Mack. Now they're looking into it. And it's like, now that's what I told them, that I'm not doing that, because then that's me posting something that is an IUIC church thing on my business.
Watch this. IUIC has about 5,000 members.
Mm-hmm.
These other groups have maybe 300 members. So the 5,000 IUIC members see it as a Judah Mack thing. Your 300 other individualite members, let's give them 1,000. Okay, let's give them 1,000. Let's give them that much. And I know I'm exaggerating that. They don't know anything about it. So you don't want to let the 1,000 members know anything, but the 5,000, where the bulk of your money comes from, you don't want to say nothing to them. Okay. All right. That makes sense, Gus.
Well, what I could do, Bishop, is I could put on the site that the business is owned and operated by me, Bezaleel Ben Israel, and nobody else. Like
right. I think, isn't that what Zeph said?
No, Zeph didn't say that. He said
Judah
that I
told
should announce. What I don't want to do is I don't want to mention Judah Mack, because that again I don't want to. You told me yourself to stay out of all that stuff, Bishop, and I've stayed out of it since me and you spoke.
Okay, now watch this, Bez. This is something funny. Judah Mack sent a text message where he posted it of a video that I did back around 2006 about how to identify a cult. He sent it, and it looked like a text message. Judah Mack did not come into the truth until 2011. So I just find it odd, very odd, that Judah Mack, when he wasn't thinking about Israel in 2006, he was not following IUIC or nobody in 2006. I'm like, well, how the hell did Judah Mack have something on a text message from something I did in 2006 when he didn't come into Israel until 2011? That is such a mystery to me. I'm asking the Lord to reveal it. And he's going to reveal it.
What are you saying? What text are you talking about?
I'm just saying it seems very odd to me. Very, very odd.
Are you think that
he posted it today.
Right. So you telling me that because you think I did that?
Well, did you do it? Yes or no?
No, I did not.
Okay, all praise to the Most High. Good. All right. I'm praying that the Lord reveal all snakes among us, bro, and do away with them. That's what I'm praying for. I feel this is like the last school I was at, 12 tribes, all of Dominicans I was talking about. It was horrible. And I get that same feeling now once again. But I said, you know what? I'm going to push forward and ask the Lord to reveal all the snakes among us, destroy them. Seriously. They was all Dominicans, bro.
Bishop, you sound paranoid. I mean, do you like...
No, I'm not paranoid.
Oh, come on.
I got to keep watch over the flock of the Most High. And I see that there are spirits who could care less, and their God is money. And I have to keep watch over that. Like Judah Mack, his God is money. It's not the truth at all. You know, his God is money and crack.
And are you, so do you feel?
What I see.
Do you feel that way about me?
Bro, I have not really been around you in 3 years since you left. I don't know where your spirit is. Josiah said, I don't know where his spirit is. I don't know. I have to wait and see the fruit of what y'all bring forth. That's why it says, bring forth fruit meet for repentance. And that's the only thing I can go by. Like the brother Amiel that was here in Dallas, I thought he was cool. What happened? He bounced. Caused all manner of confusion here in Dallas. Left. Marsha was texting me every week. Hey, Bishop, I can't wait till I'll be back, blah, blah, blah. What happened? The day he's supposed to come back? No, I'm not coming back. I'm like, what the hell's going on? I'm going with Judah Mack. So I have so many serpents around me. You know, so many snakes. Like Paul said, he said, even of your own selves shall men arise to draw disciples. So I have to go by men's works, not by that sweet talk they do. I don't go by talk. I go by works.
All right, because, I mean, you know, it's just weird because for 2 years, you know, I've given you Black Christ Matters merchandise. You see me at the events. I promoted it. You've worn the shirt. Even when Judah was told to step down, all this stuff was going on. And this was never mentioned to me up until now. And now all of a sudden, there's like this, oh, we thought it was Judah's. It's like you're fishing. It feels like it's fishing going on to see. And then right after he calls me, 2 minutes after I get off the phone with him, I get that text from you. But he told me that he did not speak to you over the weekend up in regards to it. Now, that would seem a little odd, but I'm gonna take it as is. You understand? And it's kind of like, it's like, you know, I want to stay out of all this.
Well, to stay out of all of this is what you do. You have to denounce that. That's Judah Mack's company.
Yeah, please, with all due respect, it's been 2 years since he had any involvement with this brand. He went off and started his own brand. He's been pushing that, and to mention, I don't want to mention his name.
This is what you do. Here's the solution. Say, this is a Bezaleel production only. Nobody else is involved. Because guess what? I had to call Azaniah today, okay, because somebody's using the IUIC brand, talking about I support Judah Mack, a woman, and she got our logo on her page. So I call Azaniah. I said, Azaniah, I need you to contact Facebook, shut this down. They're using our trademark. So that's what. And while I was talking to him, I said, by the way, I spoke to Bezaleel the other day regarding Black Christ Matters. I said, are you still involved in that? Yes or no? He says, no. He said, I'm not involved in that. He says, all the business I have with Judah Mack is dissolved. He said, and I believe that Bezaleel's the only one dealing with Black Christ Matters. So I said that just to tell you, I had to ask him because nobody knows this. It's like a mystery, Bez. It's a mystery. That's the only reason. So if there's a question in my mind and all the leadership mind, it's going to be a question with the body. So that's what I was telling you the other day. You should make, and Jeff said the same thing, you should make it known. Just make it known. Just say this is just a Bezaleel production. Boom. That's it. You don't have to mention Judah Mack. You don't have to mention him.
Okay.
At all.
I don't have a problem with that.
All praises, all praises. I'm like, because Bez, you was with us from the beginning, but I know you got a lot of grudges and hatred towards Bishop Kanai. I told Kanai, y'all work it out. But remember, you was on the phone with Judah Mack and Marsha Rothia, speaking a whole lot of evil based on business that you had with Bishop Kanai. So in my mind, it's like, hey, something's still going on there. That's in my mind. I could be wrong.
Well, Bishop,
but with all the evil I heard from the three of y'all together in conjunction, I'm like, hey, something might be going on. So I'm just sending up my prayers that the Lord reveals all evil, you know?
All right, I'm going to leave that one alone. I'll put that behind me. Look, all right, so so now, as far as the Black Wall Streets, I'm already signed up for the one in Tabernacles.
Okay.
I've already.
So just do that. Put it out there that you're the sole, I like the way Jeff said it. You are the sole proprietor of Black Christ Matters.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Now, did you fix that with Bishop Kanai?
Our difference is yes. Yeah, we squashed that.
Good. All right. Now, let me ask you this.
Yes.
Straight from, are you still in contact with Judah Mack and Marsha Rothia?
No, sir.
Okay. All praise. All right. All right, Bez. All praise to the Most High. Glad to hear that. But let me ask you, here's my last question. Are you still in unison with IUIC?
Why wouldn't I be?
Okay, I gotta ask. So I asked Judah Mack and Marsh the same thing. They said yes, and now look what happened. So I'm asking everybody: are you for the Most High's program through not ISUPK, not GOCC, but through IUIC? Because you're one of the originals. So I want to know firsthand.
All right, we cool.
Huh?
I said, yeah. I mean, I don't know. You asking me a question again, or I'm listening to you.
Okay. All right. All praise. All right. Yeah, and I'm trying not. I don't think I'm paranoid, but there's so much evil popping up around me, Ben. I think you understand why I've been through this almost 30 years. I've seen evil niggas all around. Brothers that I thought was down for God, they're not. You know, so I gotta be looking around me. You know.
All right. Well, we cool? Everything's good?
Yeah, everything's good, Bez. All praise to the Most High. Say shalom to Zamira. Pray the best, all right?
All right. Now again, I don't know if you answered my question. I'm signed up for the Black Wall Street at Oklahoma, and I got merchandise in production. I got money moving for that. Is everything still cool with that?
Yes.
Okay.
Do your sole proprietor thing. Remember the thing we just said?
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the website. I'm gonna put at the bottom where it says who is owned and operated by, and I'm gonna put it is a Bezaleel production.
Okay.
Cool.
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right, sir. No problem. All right. You in where you at? You in Dallas?
Yeah, I'm in Dallas.
Okay. All right. Say shalom to Isaac.
I
for me.
gotta fix the snake that was here. Too much evil, bro. I just gotta deal with it.
Then a few days later, Zephaniah Captain Zeph calls me up, basically telling me the same thing. I need to denounce Judah. I need to make a public announcement about him that he's not with the business, or so and it's advice, so my business is not affected, because obviously IUIC has the monopoly on Israel and want to monopolize on Israel. So I contact Nathaniel, and at this point, let me tell you something. I have the conversation with him, and I'm asking him, why would you say that? Why are you sending me these text messages? So Nathaniel goes on to explain to me that no business for anybody that's in IUIC is separate from IUIC, and that I'm held at some kind of part ownership towards them, or they have a say-so over my stuff because I sell at their Black Wall Street events. Now, mind you, we're a week away from Tabernacles, so I see the game. I'm like, you know what's a week away from Tabernacles? You coming at me about the Black Christ Matter stuff, and then in there you telling me that if I don't comply, that I shouldn't be selling at the Black Wall Street events. That's not a stipulation when we sign up to the Black Wall Street events and pay our registration fee, that the leadership of IUIC has a say over your business. So I refuse. And again, in the conversation, he's passively aggressive in trying to get me to do what he wants. And that falls under the definition of extortion. You have a power, you have authority, and you're trying to gain something from it. Okay, I see the game he's playing. He is going to bury me. He is going to bury this whole thing because it is a threat to his organization. That's it. And he's not gonna apply the scriptures. He's not gonna deal with this justly. He's not gonna do a diligent inquisition. This is him protecting his brand. This is him protecting his boy at the cost of us.
Now watch, this is what I ain't gonna mention them, but a brother told me, he said, I want to keep my business separate from IUIC. So I said, well, that sounds good, but that's not reality. I said, where is your financial base for your business? Where does it come from? I said, do you sell on during when we have Black Wall Street? Yes. I said, anytime IUIC has an event, you sell and make money, right? He says, yes. I said, so how is your business separate from IUIC? I said, in order for it to be separate, your business would have to be doing work out there in the world. You'd be selling with TD Jakes. You'd be selling with the other camps. You'd be selling. Or do y'all understand what I'm saying?
Maybe they don't, but they didn't sound confident like they don't understand. A lot of entrepreneurs, as you say, will come into IUIC and want to build their quote-unquote business. And they will have their business, and then they'll get somewhere along their progress and then say, you know what, this is my particular business. We had this discussion years ago. I said, well, where the hell did their fan base come from? They didn't have nothing when they were outside. They came in here, got to know everybody, selling to Israel in here, then they're going to run talking about this is my business. Do y'all get that? That's what happens. Y'all understand? Do y'all understand now? That's what we're talking about. That's wicked as hell.
Exactly. And will not support arms with 1 penny. Not a penny. Just be mindful.
Let me give y'all a little insight. Not only that, he also said that I give nothing to the truth. No contributions, no arms. Let's talk about that for a second. Now, Original Royalty is a business that I brought to the table. Between me and Josiah from New York City, we built that thing from the ground up. Joshua was the accountant / money guy, manager type situation. But all of the blood, sweat, and tears that went into make that thing was between me and Josiah. From my records, we started in 2010. Between 2010 and 2014, Original Royalty generated close to $80,000. Now, I don't have those anymore on record because I lost those files. But what I do have record of is from 2014 to 2016, roughly $98,000 was generated off of my artwork. which is not including 2016 till now. So when Nathaniel goes and tells people that I've contributed nothing, well, according to Nathaniel's own admissions, original royalty is still paying for the trips that are taking them all around the world.
Always record every conversation, just in case. I'm telling you, it's going to come back bite you.
Hey. That's funny. You know that'll never happen. Number one, original royalty, as you know, is for the people. They need something. A lot of the money that we send up comes from that, you know. And we're trying to do other things like selling awards that help and all that. Even at the Booster Club, that's not what brings the majority of us on these trips. Original royalty also helps with some of those travels. So there's no way we're selling that and have somebody dissolve it. Then we can't do the work of the Most High. It's not going to happen.
That's wicked as hell.
Exactly. And will not support arms with 1 penny. Not a penny. Just be mindful.
So the fruits of the art that I created is still helping the truth. So that's a lie.
You'll have Israelites that come in the body who can, when we started, it was me, Bishop Kenai, and one other dude that fell out. Right. From there, the deacons came, and Deacon Yawasop, Deacon Malachi, ASAP came in. We hit, it was like a total of maybe 8 of us, hit the streets, and the Lord has blessed us with what's going on right now. But some men don't have that spirit. So what do? They creep in and sit among us, like you get to know everybody, and before you know it, hey, why don't you brothers come with me? And we could do our own thing. Right. So that way, he's HNIC over these brothers, but meanwhile, he does not have the Spirit of God to go out on his own and teach nothing. Watch these spirits. Believe it or not, some people come in this truth because they see a financial opportunity. Here you are, you've been struggling all your life, which is many of our people. But then you see 1, 2, 3, 4, and you see cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. If I could get into the clothing business, I could get some money in here. Yeah. Let's say that there's 10 entrepreneurs in Israel. I'll just use a number. Only 2 give alms. Now, don't ask me right away who it is. I want y'all to do your homework. You do your own, and you have to ask. Now, if you ask them what name do they donate under. Is it your personal name or your business name? When they give you the answer, then write us an email. Then we're going to tell you. I'll call up Captain Yashua. Hey, do a search on this name for us. No. Not in the past 3 years. Not a penny. 0 donut. They don't support. Those are the ones that are here, not because they believe, but they can make a dollar off of Israel. I'm talking about men and women. Men and women. So
why do here? That means because you're looking, just like you're bringing out, you're looking for something that you could take and roll. And we have those spirits. Those spirits are all throughout us. Those spirits are in there. So just like you said, Bishop, when we call up the brother, say, ring this, ring that. Zeros come across. And that's exactly what and they've been in for years. Stuff like that. That's what that shows.
Now,
at some point, I realized based on that, seeing how Kanai was continuing to move with new people, because there was a new family that had came to me and told me Kanai was trying to get into a business with them. I didn't tell them don't do it. And I told Nathaniel about this family too. Oh, Bez, we need more witnesses. We need more people to come forward. More. That's BS. The scripture says at the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, you didn't need no more people. You just letting me know you're not going to deal with it. And as a precaution, I said, I'm going to record this conversation because if later on down the line, if he's moving like I think he's going to move, he's going to cover this stuff up. And then if I try to speak on it, he's going to turn on me and make me look like I'm the damn devil and that I'm lying. So I recorded it as a caution. And I was like, I hope I don't ever have to use this ever. He's going to do the right thing. I believe in him. And lo and behold, he did what I saw he was going to do in the spirit. And that was do whatever he had to do to protect his brand and cover it all up because it was ugly. And so it forced me to handle it this way. Because how do I stop this from happening to more people? How do I stop these men from using their power and authority to take advantage of the little ones that come in to walk in the truth and faith of Christ? I have to let this has to be known. This has to come out to the congregation. So that was the reasoning for me putting all this stuff together. Seeing how Nathaniel was dealing with it, how he was brushing it under the rug was not going to apply what the scriptures say. And to protect more people that are being pulled into this stuff, like even I got a call recently from a brother, I'm not going to go into detail, but he was pissed when he saw this first part of the video because he's the new victim and he feels horrible. I'm glad I put the video out because it's going to set the precedent within the Israelite community of what not to do with people when they come in. And hopefully this is going to help all the members of IUIC to keep an eye out for this type of wickedness. And hopefully, Kanai and Nathaniel repent from it, fix it, change it, keep it moving, continue to do great things. And I'm in no way, shape, or form trying to destroy the organization. I want to destroy the sin and leaven that I experienced in there because I care about these men. And I want them to do great things. I want everybody there to do great things. And things like this hurt. But the scripture says, open rebuke is better than secret love.
Always record every conversation, just in case. I'm telling you, it's going to come back bite you. Always record every conversation, just in case. I'm telling you, it's going to come back bite you.